know the drill. When we join you midday on a weekday, it is a very important sporting matchup in front of you. And today, a semi-final matchup. The hot, streaking UMass Boston Beacons have a tough competition on the other side of the pitch from them in the form of the Eastern Connecticut State University Warriors. Good Thursday afternoon from the UMB Soccer Stadium. My name is Chris Del Sordo, bringing you the action on the Beacon Broadcasting Network today. The 2-seed UMass Boston Beacons 9-5-3 on the season, playing host to the Eastern Connecticut State Warriors. A bit of a better record, 12-5-2 coming into this matchup for the Warriors, and they are hot, winning 7 of their last 8. We'll take a look at the side-by-side statistics for both teams, and as you can see, a little bit more of an offensive-centric attack for the Warriors. Over 2 goals per contest, 2.16. The Beacons were averaging about 2 goals per game. About 12 or 13 games through the season, their offense has peeled back a slight bit, 1.76 goals per contest. You take a look at the goals against average in both teams, playing very stalwart defense right at the 1 goal allowed average per contest. And I think, folks, that's going to be the mark today. 1 goal might get the job done, but if you're the first team to cede that goal, you have a lot to worry about to move on into the LEC championship. You take a look, the Beacons allowing more shots, the Beacons taking 1 less shot, allowing more shots, but 6 saves per contest. Kasim Al-Ashkar, a big reason for that. One of the best goalies in the LEC. He's going to have his hands filled today. Before we talk about some of the dangerous players on the Eastern Connecticut State Warriors, let's focus in on one of our own, the Beacons player to watch today, sophomore midfielder, Anilson DePina Fernandez. Anilson, a very, very local product. We're talking hyper-local. He is from Dorchester, went to high school about 4 minutes down the road, and he has been a really pleasant, bright spot. We expected a lot out of him. Offense coming through. He scored his first goal of the season back in September, the first time the Beacons played Eastern Connecticut State. He paces the Beacons third on the team in goals scored with 3, and he's tied for second on the Beaks with 2 assists. He is a screamer on the wings, can run the full length of the pitch, cover so much ground, and so he will have his hands full today. And one of the reasons why is because of a player who isn't even in the starting 11 today, but knows how to make his impact, Logan Brennan. He is a sophomore out of Farmington, Connecticut, standing 6 feet tall. He can play all 3 major spots on the field, has shifted from a defensive midfielder into the attack position where he leads Eastern Connecticut State with 8 goals scored. We have the players making their way out to the pitch, so starting lineups are about to be underway. Really quickly, let's take a look at the conference competition, because this is not the only LEC conference semifinals today. So here's what we have going on. Eastern Connecticut State facing off against your UMass Boston Beacons. That is the 2-3. The 1 seed, WestCon, is hosting Rhode Island College because Rhode Island College went onto the road and was victorious against Castleton. So the winner in this contest plays the winner of the 1-5 matchup, RIC, at WestCon. WestCon, they have been world beaters, 60 goals scored to their name, so it's going to be a tough task, whoever wins this game, to move on to the championship, but that is what is out in front. The starting lineups are getting announced right next to us here in the press box, so let's give you the starting lineups. First, for the visiting Warriors out of Eastern Connecticut State, they are the 3 seed today. We'll take a look numerically here. Dylan Palank is going to be the starting goaltender for the Warriors today. He is a junior out of Willington, Connecticut. Walter Scudder, 3 goals on the year, a starting midfielder. Lex Edwards, super talented freshman defender on the back line. Eric Kinge, a midfielder out of Vernon, Connecticut. Caleb Ennin, part of a star-studded soccer family from East Hartford. He's getting the start at forward. Andres Maiori, 8 assists leading the team at the midfield. Jared Caroline back on the defensive end. He is a 5'9" senior out of South Windsor, Connecticut. Caden Bokus, a true freshman, getting the start up front. Anton Smith, the midfielder. Larson Richards, the lone goal scorer in the quarterfinal match for Eastern Connecticut State. He's starting on the back end. Niall O'Brien, the attacking midfielder, 6 goals on the season. And we mentioned Dylan Palank, going to be the starting goaltender today for Eastern Connecticut State in a bit of a timeshare, but he has taken the starting gig. 12 games played, 6 games started. All right, now we have the Beacons lineup in front of you right here Jevic Perez going to get the start on the defensive end. He is a freshman out of Leominster, Massachusetts. Luan Cruz, Ryan Lima, both starting in the midfield. Nick Braganca, the starting freshman attacker. Christian Suvak, the lone senior on this squad on the defensive end. We mentioned DePina, he gets the start on the wing. Elijah Elliott playing defensive midfielder today. Diego Gisholt on defense. Josh D'Almeida, 7 goals on the season, the team's leading scorer. He is up front. Logan Erickson Potter back into the starting lineup today. And Kasim Al-Ashkar, the starting goalkeeper for the Beaks. 16 games played, an 8-5-3 record, and an 83.5% save percentage. We're about to hit the national anthem, so we're going to take a very quick break for you here in the broadcast booth, but when we come back, the start of the 2022 LEC semifinals between the number 3 seed ECSU Warriors and your 2-seeded UMass Boston Beacons. That's coming up right after this. And there we go. That was the national anthem. The players about to take the field, so we are just seconds away from the start of this conference semifinals. The Beacons, by virtue of being the 2 seed, they haven't played a game yet. They got a first-round bye and got to watch this Eastern Connecticut State team defeat Keene State 2 days ago in a tightly contested 1-0 win, thanks to a Larson Richards penalty kick goal in the 14th minute. Larson Richards, 4 goals on the season. He's a defender. It was a play in which he was streaking down the sideline, got a ball in the box. He was pulled down in the box, and he took the PK and deposited it into the back of the net. ECSU, a high-flying team. We mentioned in the team stats before the game started, more than 2 goals per contest, and offense wasn't really with them on Tuesday. Now, that's kind of a mark of LEC in any level of playoff soccer, but they were able to get that 1 goal across and earn the win. A better overall record for ECSU, as you look at the 2 teams side by side. 12-5-2 compared to the Beacons' 9 wins, 5 losses, and 3 ties. But both of those teams 6-2 in the LEC, and when they played each other in the regular season, the Beacons went out to Willimantic, Connecticut, and won on the road 3-1. They found themselves trailing at halftime 1-0, and then it was 3 goals in quick succession. One by Anilson DePina, one by Dylan Kelly, and then the third capstone by Josh D'Almeida, all within 24 minutes of each other, sealing a gigantic 3-1 win. And when you look at it, that win is what got the Beacons the home game, the first round bye, and a little bit of extra rest and momentum coming into action today. You have the ECSU Warriors in their road maroon uniforms. It's a maroon top with white numerals and lettering, all white shorts, and maroon socks. The Beacons wearing the Stormtrooper uniforms here, the all-white getup. White shirts, shorts, and socks, blue lettering, and blue numerals. The Beacons lined up in their attacking position. You have Josh D'Almeida and Nick Braganca locking in on both sides of the midfield circle. The Warriors still in their team huddle. One more time, your starting 11 for the Beaks today. Perez on defense, Cruz and Lima in the midfield, Braganca up front, Christian Suvak on defense, a Nielsen DePina on the wing, Elijah Elliott on the wing as well, but he actually looks to be at the right back spot to get this game started. Diego Gisholt, your central defender, Josh D'Almeida up front, Logan Erickson Potter on the back line, Kasim Al-Ashkar in net. And ECSU, they break from their huddle. Caleb Ennin walking to the center circle to get this puppy started. And we are a couple seconds away from 90 minutes to determine a trip out to Danbury, Connecticut. This is what we would assume to play the WestCon Wolves. Remember, they are hosting the Rhode Island College 5-seeded team. That game starting later on this afternoon. So don't like to assume here, but I think that would be a smart assumption, as the winner of this contest will take on the winner of the 1 versus 5. But we are underway. ECSU on the ball, and it's the freshman Lex Edwards starting this off, sending it deep into the box. Elijah Elliott smoothly heads it out of trouble. Elijah, a sophomore out of Trinidad and Tobago, actually from the same town as Emilson Barbosa, who is injured right now, a phenomenal contributor to the Beaks team last season. That ball is out around midfield. Basically, one attempt into the box gets handled by the Beacons, but kicked out. Now this is Eric Kinge, a deep throw in, looking for Caleb Ennin. Once again, Elijah Elliott back there on the right line, and he'll turn it upfield to Ryan Lima. Ambitious eyes down the field to get this play started, trying to spring Nick Braganca with a through ball, and it trended off to the right a bit, off the foot of Lima. Another ball sent deep into the corner, trying to just find something for Caleb Ennin there to make on a one-on-one play. He loses it. And so now Lima again throwing it deep down the field in the direction of Braganca, just trying to take advantage of some of that traffic along the right sideline. Instead, this ball slips past D'Almeida, but it finds the foot of Ryan Lima, and so he'll reverse field here to a Nielsen DePina. DePina has Erickson Potter to his left, instead reverses field back to Luan Cruz, and now Diego Gisholt going to quarterback the team here, feeling the pressure of Andres Maiori, but slides it over to Logan Erickson Potter. Potter with eyes up down the left sideline here. Beautiful step over to work around Lex Edwards. He keeps it in the left corner. Tries to deliver one through. It's a driven cross, and it's intercepted beautifully on the play by Niall O'Brien. He looks ahead to Caleb Ennin. That one is handled by Diego Gisholt, and the ball pops up here to us in the press box. Quickly, Andres Maiori running over to it. This is the team's leading assist man. 8 assists on the season for the 5'9" senior out of West Hartford. Caleb Ennin dispossessed on the play. Great job by Ryan Lima, and now a little backward step through from Josh D'Almeida. That ball is loose. Nick Braganca, he was offsides, but he runs Josh D'Almeida onto it, and this will lead to a positive Beacons throw in here. We're in the opening minutes of the contest. Jared Caroline ran in with a head full of steam. Made no mess of that one, just kicked the ball immediately out of trouble. And so Erickson Potter opting for D'Almeida deep down the left sideline. 2 men fronting him, but he's able to slide it back to Logan. And now Erickson Potter a little bit more room to operate. He steps back, reverses field, tried to thread it through to DePina. And that's a great job by Maiori intercepting. 1-2 touch, and Ennin puts ahead to Andres Maiori. And now the Warriors working with something down the right sideline here. Maiori fronted, and that's Christian Suvak. A great play to just swallow up that pass attempt with his chest. But the ball gets back to Maiori, and now Eric Kinge, a lot of room to operate on that left wing. That pass a little bit behind Caden Bucas. And it's Elijah Elliott getting it out of trouble. Ryan Lima has been on the ball quite a bit in the opening minutes of this contest, as the ball has been, I would say, 70% of the time in ECSU offensive territory. But now Ryan Lima charging through here, and he feeds it through to Josh D'Almeida, and he will not win the foot race. That was a great look by Ryan Lima, sliding out Dylan Palank. That's the first time we will call his name. Hopefully the first of many times, but the junior goalkeeper out of Willington, Connecticut, he answers the call. He gets to it first. Tough decision to decide to leave net like that, but he got to it. And Josh D'Almeida, no official scoring chance. Braganca, and the flag is up. That was a great look there by DePina as he saw Braganca a step potentially behind, believe Caroline was the defender for the Warriors on that play. Immediately the flag goes up, though, so that's the second time now that Nick Braganca has been offsides on a play-in. It's the first time that he's gotten the whistle blown for it. 4 minutes into the contest here, and a couple of darting runs towards the goal. No true scoring opportunity for either team. Jevic Perez getting to that one, and he fields the contact from Caden Bucas, and hits the deck. Beacons, instead of going with a free kick, they opt for the quick restart, and so now Perez just decides to give himself some breathing room here, kicks this deep down the right sideline. Seemed like that ball stayed on the sideline for a decent amount of time before it ultimately trickles over the end line. So we'll go back the other way, entering the 5th minute of this contest. We're in the LEC semifinals now. 12 wins on the season for Eastern Connecticut State. They've played 2 more games than the Beacons. Both of these teams 6-2 in 8 LEC conference games. A creative look there to just loft that one over the top, but a little bit too much foot on it from Walter Scudder. Interesting player is Walter Scudder. He has 3 goals and 3 assists, and that doesn't put him in the top 5 for either statistical categories, but his 9 points is 6th on the team. So a very capable player, mainly around the ball in the midfield, every now and then can take it upfield and make some magic happen for this Warriors offense. That's a midfield turnover. Jevic Perez, who admittedly hasn't seen as much playing time as some of his fellow teammates on the pitch right now for the Beacons, looking very capable in the first opening 5 minutes of action here. He's been on the ball quite a bit. That's a deep deflection off the head of the Warriors defender, and it skips all the way back about 10 yards past the midfield line. And so Logan Erickson Potter had made some headway bringing the ball up the pitch. He has to retreat to our right to toss this one in, and he'll launch it all the way down to Josh D'Almeida, and that touch not kept too cleanly from number 23. Josh, a junior out of Revere, Massachusetts, 7 goals on the season to lead all Beacons. He has a nose for the goal just like Nick Braganca. It's nice to see both of the 2 true goal scorers out on the pitch for the Beaks to start today off. Luan Cruz put that one a little too far out in front of himself, and so he turns it over to the waiting legs of Walter Scudder, but a quick midfield turnover by the Warriors gets it back to Christian Suvak. Once again, that's the lone senior in the starting lineup for the Beacons today, asking his Beaks to slow it down a bit here. Diego Gisholt, a little chip loft over the defender. It gets to Erickson Potter, but they're not out of trouble yet. He'll send it to the middle of the field, and it's turnover. Great read there on the play by Niall O'Brien, and now he has the ball at his feet in the middle of the Beacons defense. Luan Cruz with the tip, and the ball's still in trouble here. It's going to roll out to Walter Scudder. Scudder, chip over to Caleb Eden. Flag stays down on the play, but Kasim Al-Ashkar the first to it. And Kasim wearing his goalie purple kit, we'll say makes the first save of the contest this afternoon. Not quite sure if that's going to count, as that was just a ball rolled into the middle, but if that is, it took 5 minutes, about 6 minutes to see the match's first shot, and the save made on the play by Al-Ashkar. Here's DePina now. Slides one through to Josh D'Almeida. Ball on his left foot, uses his body to clear some room, slides that one in, and that is the game's first save, and it's handled very easily by Dylan Palank. Second time now, Palank has had to come out and meet an attacker at the ball. No real angle for Josh D'Almeida on that play. And so ECSU can take a little bit of an exhale there and work the ball back up the pitch. At midfield, nice defensive job by Perez, but he can't win it free. Suvak can't get to it in time. Elijah Elliott playing left back today. Skies up and gets that one away from Caleb Ennin. Not a moment too soon. Anton Smith in the middle works it back to Scudder. Scudder kind of taking that quarterback spot of the central defensive midfielder position, but he turns it over, and now a cross-pitch pass to Anilson DePina gives the speedy sophomore some room to operate. Ball at his feet, darts towards the middle, tries to poke it out towards, I believe that's Lima. That wasn't the intention on the play, but it actually lets the Beacons reset and have some room to operate here on the offensive end. Gisholt now from his back spot, and that's a bad spot to turn the ball over, but that's a handball. Happened right in front of the referee, and now the Beacons with the chance to draw up a set piece here about 30 yards away from the net. Instead, they opt for the quick restart, and Erickson Potter gets a clean look at a cross, lofts it. Ryan Lima not the first to get to it. Kingay can't clear it out of trouble. Instead, he kicks it straight up, and now this ball trending deep towards the left sideline. In a dangerous spot, it goes out of bounds, and here's Jevic Perez. And the Beaks can't necessarily say threatening, but knocking on the door a bit as we are entering the 10th minute of the contest here. Sun looks to be in the eyes of Lima as that was Cruz as he bounces it through to Gisholt. Now Luan Cruz over to Logan Erickson Potter. Potter steps over, tries to feed D'Almeida. He's going to have to hustle to keep it in. He does. Great job by D. Almeida. Oh, whistle blows, and referee's right in front of us here. He did have the angle on the sideline. Now, I'm not sure if that cross would have led to anything constructive there, but a great individual effort by D. Almeida, and it's going to be a very deep throw, if nothing else, for Eastern Connecticut State. This is Lex Edwards, a freshman out of Milford, Connecticut. 4 goals on the season. He's 4th on the team for ECSU with 4 goals on the season, doing so at the true defensive spot. And that one looks to have made contact with 2 different players on the Warriors there. It scurries out of bounds, and so Logan Erickson-Potter, another throw in here. The Beacons now, probably the first 6 minutes of this contest or so, we're ceding a little bit of the game to ECSU, letting them keep it in their zone. Right now, the Beacons have monopolized the past 4 minutes of soccer into their offensive zone. That ball not rolling out of bounds, and so Kasim Al-Ashkar is just going to have to hustle over and hucks this ball into Monin Park's outfield. I mean, no mistakes made there by Kasim Al-Ashkar. He had to clear it out of trouble. So someone's going to track that one down. And a really nice job by Christian Suvak on the ensuing throw-in to kick that one out of trouble. Nick Braganca trying to use that big frame to maintain possession, but there were 5 Warriors around him. Interception on the play by Luan Cruz, but he just can't keep it tidy as this one's sent all the way into Al-Ashkar. And he'll decide to wrap it up and quickly toss it back into Elijah Elliott. Not quite sure if Caleb Ennen was the intended target on that one. He was down there. But tidy work there by Elijah Elliott. This one headed through by Perez. You see Jevic started today in the left back spot, but he's kind of moved up to left wing. He's playing a position similar to what DePina is playing. It looks to be on the right wing. D. Almeida couldn't get a read on that one, and it takes a very funky hop away from Walter Scudder. So he launches it over. Anton Smith, a very nice play to keep it in. And here come the Warriors back the other way. In the middle, that's a turnover there as Caden Bokus was looking for Anton Smith. 2 freshmen trying to hook up. The connection, not crisp. Great job by Josh D. Almeida riding the player with the ball for ECSU, forcing the turnover. And ECSU looking a little bit out of sync right now on the defensive end. DePina's in the middle. That's a dangerous spot for him because he has great possession skills. He slides one through, and Braganca was onside there. Just wasn't ready for it. You can see DePina looking back towards Braganca. That was the move. That was the play. Tried to slip him behind the defense with a through ball, and Nick didn't get the best first step past the defense to catch up to the ball. Now a little back and forth here in the midfield, and Luan Cruz, he loses it, gets it back, and now takes it into some open space so the Beacons can regain possession comfortably here. Our clock has us about 13 minutes into this contest. 1 save apiece. 2 shots for the Beacons, 1 shot for ECSU, and we're still scoreless here in the opening minutes of this conference semifinal. Dylan Palank, that was a very intentional rollout there. Tried to get the Beacons looking back down the field, but instead he puts it right in front to his midfielder, Jared Caroline. And now this springs Bokus down the left sideline. Perez does a nice job to cut him off, but Bokus spins around, and that's a risky play. Perez is going to be the guilty target here, and the referee coming over. Let's see if a card is in the works for Perez. It doesn't look to be it, but a dangerous free kick coming up for an ECSU team that loves taking it to the set pieces. They lead the conference with 153 corner kicks coming into action today. For record, that's 65 more than the Beacons had. Now, 2 less games for the Beacons, but 65 more corner kicks. That's not an accident. This is a free kick from deep in the left corner, and let's see where Lex Edwards decides to deliver it. The freshman, standing over the ball, looks to be a right-footed attempt here. Caden Bokus entering the box. Swings in, that's a low driving cross. It's still loose in the box and kicked out of trouble by the Beacons. It'll be another corner kick. I believe that was actually Josh D. Almeida, the attack man, down in the box, clearing it out of trouble. If not, Christian Suvak was the one to clear the danger. But now Edwards gets to walk it back to the flag.
Warriors corner kick taken by number 5, Lex Edwards.
And here's a true corner coming up for ECSU. The first of this contest. We're about 14 minutes in. Driven cross. It'll go behind the net, and it'll wrap around the far post out. So no concern there, no trouble for Kasim Al-Ashkar, and Logan Erickson-Potter first to it. So the Beacons had that one drawn up pretty well. 2 similar looks, the free kick and the corner kick, back-to-back for ECSU, and they don't generate anything dangerous in either of those 2 opportunities. So that's a nice Nice little minute there to affirm the Beacons' defensive efforts up to this point. If you're Coach Beverlin, you have to like that. This is a team that if they are going to beat you, a set piece is one of the places you expect them to do it. And they couldn't really generate anything in either of those two looks. Cruz dumps it off to Erickson Potter. Logan, a sophomore out of Swansea, Mass, reverses it all the way back to Gisholt on the other side of the midfield line. Elijah Elliott looking towards us, and that's because Erickson Potter's all by himself. And let's see if Logan decides to take advantage of some of this room down the left sideline. Dumps it off to DePina. A Nielsen keeping it alive, and he'll wrap it all the way across to Suvak. You can see a Nielsen waving for the team to reverse field, but instead Suvak looks towards the middle. Not the best cross, as that one's into no man's land, handled nicely by Niall O'Brien. O'Brien looking towards Anton Smith. Elijah Elliott, the only one there, and not the cleanest header. That one pushed Kasim Al-Ashkar off his line a bit, but Kasim gets to it. He'll roll it right back to Elijah, and once again the Beaks out of trouble. This game's still scoreless. Trying to just spring something to get into and maybe through that last line of defense. It's been really down the flanks. The Beacons have been trying to spring Nick Berganca on a through ball up the middle. Haven't taken advantage of the opportunity yet. That's a beautiful interception by Elijah Elliott. Up ahead to Ryan Lima. And Lima dancing around the far sideline. Swings it back over to Logan Erickson Potter. A Nielsen DePina now. So good with just one man to beat, but he was shaded by a little double team, so he opts to send it back to Gisholt. Diego not going to waste any time. Lofts that one over the top. Luan Cruz first to it. Heady play there by Cruz to try and chip it over the defense, but it doesn't touch anyone on the Warriors, and so it goes out for a goal kick. If nothing else, the Beacons have been feeling froggy on offense because they've been trying to really, it seems like, spring everything off of a running through balls, be it down the sideline or up the middle of the pitch. Hasn't been really any back and forth passing to slowly peel into this ECSU defense, and so kudos to the Warriors for that strong. It really looks like a true back line of three with two defensive midfielders. Gisholt runs up on offense and intercepts the ball in a dangerous spot. He lofts it ahead to DePina. DePina keeps it in down the left flank. Now steps over. Now crossing through. Right foot. It's deflected. That was a great opportunity for a shot. The rebound out to Josh D'Almeida. He slides it over, and that's a huge shot from Ryan Lima. He gets everything on that. He kicks that ball into downtown Boston and over the net and out of trouble. And another goal kick coming up for Dylan Palank. Efforting some live stats for you right here. We're still scoreless. About 18 minutes into this contest here. The winner of this game moves on to the LEC Conference Championship, where they will face the winner of the number 1 seed WestCon and the number 15 seed, or the number 5 seed, my apologies, Rhode Island College. If RIC were to win, then the winner of this game will host, and if WestCon wins, then the winner of this contest will travel to Danbury to take on the Wolves. Niall O'Brien, charging on ahead for Eastern Connecticut State. He's a true freshman out of Guilford, Connecticut. Looks towards another freshman, Caden Bocus, who felt some contact. He was the one delivering the contact, no whistle. And that ball gets kicked through to Kasim Al-Ashkar. He makes the save, looks ahead for a Nielsen DePina, and now here comes DePina, trying to cut off the angle against Mayuri, and he wins it. And so now the Beacons with a man out of position, but the weak through ball there doesn't find the target in Ryan Lima, and now the Beacons on the retreat. Enin can't get around Elliott. Great play there by Elliott. No whistle on the contact initiated by Enin, but a great sliding clearance there by Jevic Perez. How are you doing? The true freshman out of Leominster, Mass. That's a big ask, and it seems like ECSU might be keyed in on that. Coach Greg DeVito, this is his 17th year running the ECSU program. I think of all the starters, Perez is probably the latest addition. Of the 11 starters, the name maybe you least expect to see in the starting 11, and it has been a noted concerted effort out of Eastern Connecticut State attacking him, it looks like. Here's a nice play on the right sideline by Lima. He can't keep it in there. As Lima and Berganca trying to apply a bit of a back check, if you will. D'Almeida pressuring, Suvak intercepting, and that's a great play by the Beacons to just get this one out of midfield trouble, but that pass does not find a Nielsen DePina. Luan Cruz stepping through, like a bull in a china shop there. For a split second, he won possession, but it goes right back to the Warriors. And some nifty dribbling from Walter Scudder has ECSU going back the other way. Warriors attacking left to right on your computer screen. Caleb Ennin down the left sideline, trying to take on Elijah Elliott. Keeps his dribble alive, but he ultimately loses it going out towards the end line, and it will be a goal kick for Al Ashkar. Into the 19th minute of this contest, 19:30 to be exact, Kasim Al Ashkar, he's had to come out and make a couple of plays on the ball. No official saves yet. The Beacons with 3 shots, one of them on goal, so Dylan Palank does have a save to his name. But this game is more or less stayed home at midfield right now. Here's Logan Erickson Potter with a charge ball on his left foot, slides it over to Perganka, and a soft touch there. The pass doesn't get to DePina, but not tidy work from Lex Edwards. And so Eastern Connecticut State gives it right back to the Beacons, a quick throw-in. Great dribbling work there by Perganka to free up some space. Luan Cruz, right-footed cross into the box, and it's handled fairly cleanly by Larson Richards, but it scoots out to Christian Suvak. He'll look back to Jevic Perez, and the Beacons have some time here to free some space. Instead, they're trying to spring Lima on an optimistic through ball, but it's just too far out in front of number 8, and that ball is out of play. See a couple of players in the navy, white, and maroon of ECSU jogging deep on the sideline. We haven't had a sub enter this contest yet. This game has been pretty firmly in the balance, so both skippers seeing what their starting 11 will continue to contribute here. That's another unforced error turnover at midfield for ECSU. And Ryan Lima wasting no time to bring it right through the teeth of the ECSU defense. Slides it back to Luan Cruz. Cruz puts it out in front of it. 1-2 game with Lima. Lima steps over into the box. Tried to slide one through to DePina. And it's another nice defensive play by Andres Mayuri, the team's leading assist man with 8 assists on the season, just 2 goals to his name, and seemed to have been focusing on defense for the first 20 minutes or so of this contest here. See Logan Erickson Potter upset with himself there. He wanted a Nielsen DePina to run through on that through ball. DePina opted to kind of layer back in and try and get an attack going from the inside out. And you could, from even where we are on the press box, you heard Logan say, "Sorry, Nielsen." So who knows, maybe that look will still be there later on in the contest. Once again, I'm not sure what ECSU was looking for if they were trying to loft it into Caleb Ennin, but it's another turnover behind the net, and quickly Yasholt and the Beacons operating. But that's a bad turnover now as Scudder looks ahead to Mayuri with Potter on him. Tries to chip one through to Ennin. Ennin is offsides. That was a great play by Kasim Al-Ashkar, sliding out and putting a foot to the ball, but don't even count the shot attempt because it is offsides against Caleb Ennin. 3 goals on the season for Ennin, a junior out of East Hartford. And so with the official offsides flag, Al-Ashkar puts it into the middle of the box, and he will opt for a goal kick. He waves the team upfield, runs through it, and puts a nice boot on this one. It's coasting back. Lima, the only player there for the Beacons. Mayuri and Cruz both elevating. Potter winning it, and now here's Logan looking back over his shoulder, has DePina, he'll take it himself. Logan Erickson Potter down the left sideline, steps it back to DePina. Now in Nielsen, some room to operate, ball on his right foot, tries to step inside to the right. Phenomenal defense from Walter Scudder. He has about 7 inches of height on DePina, used it to his advantage. Cruz can't keep it contained, and now Suvak turns it over, and here's Anton Smith operating for the Warriors. Can he get to it? Great dive by Suvak to get it off of his foot, and Berganca is offsides, I feel like, from where that play started, but we have the referee walking in, and he saw the same thing. So it's going to be another offsides against Nick Berganca. That is the second time he's been whistled for it. It's been the third time that it has affected the run of the play. And that's what you're going to get with a true striker, a true number 9 like Nick. He's on the pitch to create those runs and get behind the defense, and just a step too far. And so now ECSU opting to send the bulk of the team towards the front of the box here. Free kick coming from Larson Richards. Puts his foot through it. And that one is over the head of Anton Smith. And it stays in. Wow, so no goal kick yet. Ennin, that's almost a penalty against Gisholt. He puts his arms up as to say, no, that's not me. No whistle, so no worries. And the ball out of trouble. And how about this? Braganca now frees it. D'Almeida overruns it, but the Beacons still with something here if they opt to push it up the field. They look back. Elijah Elliott kind of slides back, and it creates the angle to get it over to Logan Erickson-Potter. Beacons, I think, ultimately did the right thing there. They thought better of trying to work that advantage, and instead will create their own run-up field here. We're 25 minutes into this contest, 20 minutes left in the first half, still scoreless. Beacons the only team, I believe, with an official shot on goal up to this point, yes. So 3 shots, 1 of them on net for the Beaks, 1 save made by Dylan Palank. Great play there by Diego Gisholt to a loose ball to no one, but he turns it over to Scudder. And now here's Maiori. Header towards the middle. Elliott. Great read on the play by Elijah. And he's got some room if he wants to. He'll walk it out. Tries to just pick it over to DePina, but it's intercepted by Maiori, who is having a phenomenal game already defensively. And here's Lex Edwards down the right wing. Great recovery play by Erickson-Potter. And an even better angle. I believe that looks to be a deep throw. We'll see real quick. They didn't point to the flag. They just pointed to the side. So it's just a deep throw right here for ECSU. My apologies. No, it is going to be a corner kick from Lex Edwards. I thought he was holding the ball to throw it in. Instead, Edwards
Lex Edwards
on for the corner kick. So he takes the corners, it looks like, from both the right and left sides. Deep on the near sideline here, the right-footed Edwards. Lines one through, skying up and clearing it momentarily out of trouble is Braganca. And a great play there by Erickson-Potter, but staying on the ball and getting a shot on through was Larson Richards. Ultimately, this one escapes, and kicking it straight up into the air is Jared Caroline. But that ball's turned over by Maiori to DePina. Cruz on it to help out DePina, and let's see what a Nielsen has up his sleeve here. Steps it back around Niall O'Brien, instead opts to give it to the senior, Christian Suvak. We do look to have our first sub of the contest ready to come in. This is a bad turnover, though, as it frees Walter Scudder with a head full of steam. He stops, sends it to the middle of the field, and a beautiful read by Gisholt, but he can't get it fully out of trouble yet. It's kept in by Smith. No, he turns it over to Luan Cruz. And Braganca was offside, so he knew he was offside that time. He doesn't attempt the run. That will be the flag. So that's the third time Nick Braganca has been whistled for the offsides. Not a throw-in, so we can't have the substitute come in off this. When he does come in, it looks to be number 7, Ryan Soroy, who is the team's third leading goal scorer with 5 goals to his name. Tied for third on the team with 12 points this season. So Soroy is ultimately headed into this contest. Ball still in front of us right now as DePina runs Ennin off of it. And a lax pass there from Caroline looked to potentially lead to a turnover. Bad contact there from Erickson-Potter, though, as the foul going to go against him and lead to a free kick in a pretty dangerous position for the Warriors. One shot now for ECSU, still nothing on net for the Warriors. The Beaks with 3 shots, 1 on target. ECSU trying to line up their set piece here. Looks to be about 6 players right along the top of the box, all towards the left side. Edwards lofts that one. It's high. Al-Ashkar retreated went out towards the ball for a second, then decided to retreat. That one's going to get kicked out of trouble by Lima, but not out of the zone. ECSU going to get a second to reset here as the aforementioned Ryan Soroy is making his way in, and coming off will be the fellow freshman, Anton Smith. So resetting the field for ECSU, it's Ryan Kinge, Larson Richards, Jared Caroline, the captain, Walter Scudder, Caden Bokus, Ryan Soroy now back deep on the left wing. Ryan Soroy, pardon me. Caleb Ennin up front. You have Niall O'Brien at the defensive midfielder position, Andres Maiori, the last midfielder, and they still have Dylan Palank in net.
Number 7, Ryan Soroy. And in the match for your Beacons, number 18, Mon Albahasi.
In for the Beacons, we have number 18, Mon Albahasi, a phenomenal defensive midfielder out of Revere, Massachusetts. Braganca was behind the defense there. That one did ultimately get to Palank. I don't know if you can count that as a true opportunity, but the Beacons with eyes upfield towards big number 9, and it almost paid off there. 4 goals this year for Nick Braganca. Andres Maiori, can he get to that one down the right sideline? Beautiful job of getting to it and keeping it in. Now tries to split the Beacons double team. Some contact from DePina. He put his arms up as to say, don't blow that whistle, but we saw the contact. It was initiated by number 12. And so the referee coming over to just tell him, hey, we saw it in Nielsen. Seems like a rather lighthearted conversation between the two here, and it's going to be a free kick from a bit deeper than I think both teams anticipated that ball to be spotted at. And it's going to take a almost perfect entry to have the first touch on this ball be sent in towards net. But let's see if that's what Lex Edwards, has up his sleeve. He does all the corners and looks to be doing the long free kicking. That one's, wow, headed in by Larson Richards and kicked out of trouble, but it's still in the box here. Elliott, powerful header to poke free. Larson Richards climbed the ladder there to get it to the ball, and Kasim Al-Ashkar upended on the play by Caleb Ennen. All is well. Referee gives 2 thumbs up on the play, and it's Al-Ashkar fielding it, taking it out of trouble, and the Beacons working back the other way. Potter keeps it in. Mayuri fronting him. So a little bit of sag in the Warriors' defense here. If the Beacons can maybe find a ball right through the middle, they'll have something out on the wings. Lima going to chip it ahead to DePina. A Nielsen. Around both Warriors, that ball is kept in. Okay, and now finally the referee does blow the whistle and say it was taken out of bounds on the play by Niall O'Brien. Potter opting to be the player to throw it in. DePina instead heading in towards the box. 31 minutes into this first half now, still scoreless. 1 shot on goal up to this point. For actually now with that last play off of the free kick, 1 shot on goal for each team. Cruz looking for Braganca. It's still loose. DePina couldn't quite keep it in. If he would have been able to put a foot to that ball, it would have been a potentially dangerous attack for the Beacons. And we will see the game's second substitution. It's going to be ECSU Warriors midfielder, number 15, Jaron Haddock, entering the contest. Haddock, a defensive midfielder out of South Windsor, Connecticut. And it looks like he'll slide in currently to the left back position. He's coming on for number 8, Eric Kingay. Logan Brennan also into the contest as well for Eastern Connecticut State, and we mentioned him before this game started because he's the team's leading goal scorer with 8 goals. He hasn't played in 2 of the he hasn't played in 4 of ECSU's 19 games this season, so 8 goals in just 15 games. Very impressive numbers for Logan. He's a sophomore out of Farmington, Connecticut, wearing number 25. Christian Suvak having a word with the referee there, I think just asking for some clarification, if nothing else. We're back into play here. Tough to say which team, if any, has an advantage right now. This has been a very stay-at-home game, very defense-centric. A couple of chances on goal, but nothing serious for either team, and it seems like both teams very content at this point to maybe play out the rest of this first half, just seeing what the other team has up their bag of tricks. They tried to spring Baganka on that. Larson Richards over on the left wing. He comes over to cut it off as they were able to get around Haddock. But a turnover in midfield, and now the aforementioned Jaron Haddock looking up. And I think that was intended for Mayuri, but nobody was there, so Elliott taking his time getting to it and ultimately letting it roll out. Man Albahas, he just entered the contest, throws it back in. As we're nearing the 12-minute mark here, about 33 minutes into this contest, as we mentioned, LEC Conference semifinals, a trip to the championship on the line. Depending on what happens in the other semis, the winner of this game could host. If WestCon, the 1 seed, wins their semifinals, then the winner of this contest will head to Danbury to play the Wolves. But if RIC wins, then whoever wins this game will host the championship Saturday afternoon. Another sub for ECSU, so now they're really starting to empty their bench. Sean Cafferty, the next player in for the Warriors, a sophomore out of Clinton, Connecticut. Big-bodied attacker. He stands 6'2".
The Warriors, number 11, Sean Cafferty.
Has 2 goals this season to go along with 5 helpers, so a big playmaker for the sophomore. Dylan Palank looking up. Kicks it right down the middle of the field, and Potter skies up. Doesn't win it cleanly, but Cruz right there to help him out. Easy bicycle kick over the top. That ball retreated all the way back to Cruz. He goes to Christian Suvak. Back to Albahasi playing deep on the right back spot. And Better to be lucky than good, as Albahasi was able to get that one out of trouble, but D. Almeida not ready for it, and now Haddock bringing it back up the other way for ECSU. Haddock slides it back to O'Brien. O'Brien all the way across the pitch, and that was handled by Cafferty, still on his foot. Dug out on the play by Diego Gishold and out of trouble. And now the Beaks with a man down. If they want to push it here, DePina can find some open room. He takes it into a duo of Warriors defenders, and the referee's like, I can't help you out with that. That's a turnover for DePina. And now some lax play off the foot of Albahasi had the Warriors in a potential attacking position. Elliott very wisely just waiting for Saroy to come close enough and kicks it off him. And gives Kasim Al-Ashkar the clearing attempt. 35 minutes into this first half. We have 10 minutes left to go in a scoreless contest. Lawan Cruz spinning. Off to Josh D. Almeida. 7 goals on the season for the junior. He's had 1 opportunity so far today. Braganca can't quite get to that one in time, and wisely running off the ball, Larson Richards. And this has been the story for the past 10 minutes of this contest. Dylan Palank resetting and just rolling it out. Yet to see that true highlight reel scoring opportunity for either team. 3 shots apiece. Beacons are the only team officially credited with a shot on goal right now. They have 1. Here's DePina. Right-footed step over. Has Lima with some room in the middle of the box. Lima opts to change direction back to Cruz. Lima keeping it alive. Logan Erickson Potter. The back corner of that umbrella here as you have the Beacons back cornerbacks pushing forward. That was a great play by Potter to keep it in bounds off the Gishold pass. Looks over to Lima, and once again the Beacons dancing with it, but they have something brewing here, albeit it's a slow brew. Suvak looks back to Albahasi, and I think the Beacons just trying to catch one Warrior out of position. They keep reversing direction on the pitch. Now Albahasi, that's a bad turnover there as it's won by Logan Brennan. Up ahead to Caleb Bokus. Oh, wow, and what a great play by Gishold. He has been all over the pitch this first half from that true center back position. 2 goals to his name offensively on the year, but he's the main sweeper back there, and he's been busy and he's been effective. Elijah Elliott, busy afternoon for him as well, as he feigned the pass down the left sideline to Erickson Potter. Logan's still onside, and so Lima passes it through. Good one-touch by Logan off the left foot, and now they try to spring to Pina, and Nielsen not quite ready for it. Caroline trying to stop to Pina. He gets by, and that's going to be a whistle in the box, and we have a penalty kick coming up for the Beacons. What a great play by Jordan Caroline, a great play by DePina trying to get underneath Jared Caroline. Dylan Palank, the goaltender, saw that Caroline was having some trouble defending DePina. So when Palank comes out, it's basically 2 guys trying to stop DePina. Way too much contact. He draws the penalty in the box, and so we will have a scoring opportunity here entering the 37th minute, and it's big number 9, Nick Braganca, addressing the ball on the spot. Braganca, a freshman, standing 6'2", out of Beverly, Massachusetts. Referee doing his diligence to make sure all the players not leaking into the box. He blows his whistle. Braganca runs up, right-footed shot, and he tucks it inside the right post. Goal, Beacons! Nick Braganca, his 5th of the season in the 38th minute, and the Beacons take a 1-0 lead here in the conference semifinals thanks to Nielsen DePina's efforts and Nick Braganca's finishing. Goal number 5 in the 38th minute, and the Beacons up 1-0. So we are back underway here. Beacons leading 1-0. Palank was almost there with the save on the left post as Braganca pushed it to the right side, but he's able to tuck it inside the right post for a Beacons goal.
Time of the goal, 36 minutes, 45 seconds in the first half.
And now Braganca, this is what you love to see. You reward your players for scoring. Braganca's going to come off, and it's going to be Jaheim Perez playing the attack for the final, I would think, 6 minutes or so of this first half. Once again, that was all thanks to Nielsen DePina's efforts down the left flank, drawing a yellow card in the process on Jared Caroline. We didn't mention that when him and Palank
Beacons, number 10, Jaheim Perez.
offered the defense on that play. It was a yellow card issued to Caroline. He's the team's skipper, so let's see if that affects his status for the rest of this game. You don't want to risk a player catching a second yellow in a conference semifinal matchup. Potter slides it to DePina. Perez asking for it. DePina keeping it himself. DePina cutting through the middle. DePina working the angle, stops on a dime, spins, back over to Erickson Potter. Logan, fronted on the play by Cafferty. Still dancing. He can't get around Sean Cafferty. He offs to cross it into the middle, and that one skids off, and Josh D'Almeida is going to be the first to it, right on the right side of the box. Now he's pushed towards the sideline, but he spins past the defender, crosses it, and wow, an angled shot just over the reach of Dylan Palank. That one got a lot closer to the net than I think expected. So no opportunity there. No true shot on goal. The Beacons now 4 shots in this contest, 2 on goal, 1 save made by Palank. ECSU 3 shots, none of them have yet to test the frame of Kasim Al-Ashkar. Beacons leading 1-0 here, heading into the final 5 minutes of this first half. Header contested on the deep end of the field. Cafferty, he had the height advantage. He couldn't win it over Erickson Potter. This ball stays in, and so Gisholt going to take his sweet time walking this one out. Nice job there by Diego, freeing up some space. He's going to try to get it to DePina down the right sideline. A little too much steam on that one, too much spin, and it scatters out. Working quickly the other way here, but turning it over are the Warriors, and that's going to be a handball called against DePina right in front of the referee. So what looked to be maybe a ECSU turnover towards their own box, instead it's a handball, and a potential dangerous free kick. Once again, Lex Edwards over the ball for the Warriors here. 39.5 minutes through this first half. Skying up, that one got in and deflected back. And what a play by Jaheim Perez. Niall O'Brien was closest to it. You had Elliott peeling in on the back line to free it. Jaheim Perez ultimately got to it and got it fully out of trouble, and now it's turned over on the lofted ball in down the right sideline. And so Logan Erickson Potter can take his time if he wants to before tossing this ball back in. Erickson Potter looks deep down the left sideline, and wind blowing towards us a little bit here, and that pushed that throw just out of bounds. So not that desirable of a turnover on the play if you're the Beacons. Got to feel good if you're the Beaks, up 1-0 right now, thanks to the penalty kick goal from Nick Braganca. And then in a true run of play, the Beacons with the only non-PK shot on goal, and that happened what felt like forever ago, I believe, in the first 11 minutes of this contest. Al-Bahasi a little too handsy there with the defensive pressure, and so it'll be a quick restart for the Warriors right on their side of the midfield line, and they'll quickly push it ahead to Walter Scudder. Scudder towards the middle. No whistle. Good defense there by Luan Cruz, and it lets Logan Erickson Potter look upfield towards Ryan Lima. Lima sliding it over to D'Almeida, who opts for the push chip in the direction of DePina, and good patience there for DePina to win it. DePina now working on the freshman Edwards. Great play by Edwards to chop free and loop a pass around towards Grady Kelly, who just entered the contest, but it's turned over in midfield. Now Ryan Lima running over. Beautiful win there by Walter Scudder. And Niall O'Brien operating back the other way. Quickly drops his right foot through it. Leads Logan Brennan out. Gisholt running Brennan off the ball. That's a lot of contact on the outside of the box. And let's see. Whistle is blown, and it will be a goal kick. So no foul on the play against Gisholt. It looked like Ryan Saroy, number 7, was asking for some sort of whistle. That play didn't happen in the box, but if a free kick was given, it would have been at a very, very dangerous spot on the immediate other side of the, right in the front corner there of the goal line and the start of the box. So from the near point, the Beacons are able to avoid any sort of penalty call, but that's not the best kickback into play from Al Ashkar, and Sean Cafferty looking towards Ryan Saroy, and Al-Bahasi there to knock it out of trouble. You got another sub making his way in for the Beacons. Can't quite get an angle on the number. Believe that's number 5, Oscar Trujillo, and it is. So the freshman midfielder out of Hyde Park, he is into the contest. This ball's still loose, and D'Almeida swore that it touched a Warrior last, but instead it's going to be a quick throw in here for Haddock and ECSU, and he gets it over the top to Ryan Saroy. One touch, but it's turned over. Great defense by Christian Suvak. Elliott has to really put some hitch in his giddy up to get that one out of trouble. Trujillo now running on like a madman trying to force the issue here, and it's a great clear by Dylan Palank. All the way back to Diego Gisholt, who turns it over on a lackadaisical clearing attempt directly to Walter Scudder. Luan Cruz, Johnny on the spot. He gets it off Scudder, but the pass to DePina leads to a turnover. Smart play there by Logan Erickson Potter, kind of dummying that play, and it leads to some contact out of Lex Edwards. No whistle, no harm, no foul, but the Beacons get the ball back, and it'll be a left sideline throw-in. Sorry. A minute 30-ish. We don't have the official clock on our broadcast right now, but about a minute left is DePina looking for Trujillo. Big slide there from Oscar. Can't quite keep it in. Beacons back to the defensive line. Lex Edwards walks it up before tossing it in. Not the best effort on the throw-ins for ECSU this first half as it leads to a turnover, and this ball's kicked back and forth down the right sideline. Scudder just trying to get it into a spot that maybe the ball takes a funny bounce, but as it is, we are headed into the final minute of this first half, and the Beacons holding a 1-0 lead, looking rather comfortable doing so.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Turnover out the right sideline, and once again pushing the issue, Grady Kelly, and you see that back line of Warriors joining the offensive effort in unison. That cross gets deflected, and so this will lead to a corner kick for ECSU, and once again it's Lex Edwards back in the left corner. I didn't see who made contact with that for the Beacons, but you can see we're down into the final 30 seconds or so of this first half, and so one last look from a set piece here. Edwards. This one's lofted up into the wind. Skying up is Cafferty, and he put a great look on it, but missed it a bit high. Al Ashkar was there. If that could have gotten placed a bit better, it would have been over Kasim. Instead, it's a long, loud miss, and this should allow the Beacons to run out the final 10 seconds of this first half with Al Ashkar on the box.
9, 8,
You hear our sports information director, Dave Wahlberg, on the PA with the countdown. So this is going to be a celebratory boot, and that will do it. One half of soccer in the books, and the Beacons looking good in the first 45 minutes. They take a 1-goal lead into halftime of this 2022 LEC Conference semifinal. Beacons 1, Warriors 0. We'll have the halftime numbers for you after this break on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LEC TV.
Conference playoffs getting underway on Tuesday afternoon. The quarterfinal matchup between 6-seeded Keene State and the 3-seeded UMass Boston Beacons. McKenna Hallinan would look to get the scoring started early for the Beacons in just the second minute. Hallinan firing on net just wide of Sonia Moritz in net. And then Kaylee Haynes, who had herself a day just a few minutes after that, shooting it from the left side. Moritz comes up with the save, but Haynes would have her moment. 10 minutes into the game, you see Danny Anderson finding Sarah Gavin on the left wing, and Gavin's going to run all the way up the sideline. No Keene State defender is able to get to her. Haynes then takes the ball on the outside, splits this defender right here, goes towards the goal, firing on Morris off the crossbar. Wasn't sure if it was in at first, but it is. And Haynes celebrates her 6th goal of the season. Kaylee Haynes has been on fire for the Beacons over the last 5 games, scoring 6 goals up to that point in the match. But her day was not over, as you see her celebrating down the sideline like she does with her teammates, because Haynes would net her 2nd goal of the game, her 7th of the season, her 7th in the last 5 matches. As this one down the sideline, Eaton gets it over to Haynes right in the middle, and she heads it past Moritz in the left side of the goal. And the Beacons, just like that, are up 2-0 less than 20 minutes into the match, as Haynes, just as she always does, down the sideline, celebrating with her teammates. The Beacons in full control of this one. And really, Maria Spilios, the goalkeeper, wouldn't have to do much for the Beacons as we head right to the second half. Kalia Eaton looks to extend the lead here for the Beacons. Eaton firing from the middle. Moritz able to come up with that save on the left side of the goal mouth. And then we continue on. Sarah Gavin, a nice scoring opportunity as this ball is put deep into the zone, and Gavin heads it after it comes out of play off a Keene State defender, and Moritz right there to make the stop. But the Beacons would not go quietly in the second half, and later on, Lindsey Buscarin, her second goal of the season, her first since the opening game of the year against Smith College. Kaylee Sullivan takes advantage of that turnover by Keene State, and Buscarin puts Moritz in the splits. It's 3-0 UMass Boston. Full control of this game from start to finish. The Beacons would outshoot Keene State 16-3 in this game, 9-3 in shots on goal. And the Beacons would add one more for good measure on this Sullivan corner kick. It would carry them in front off of a Keene State defender and into the goal. At first, they weren't sure if it was in, but yep, you guys can celebrate. The Beacons are up 4-0 on Keene State, and that would end up being the final score of this one. UMass Boston advancing to the semifinals of the Little East Conference Championship. They will take on 2-seeded WestConn, who they beat at home earlier this year 3-0 on their senior day, and Kaylee Haynes in that game had 2 goals. So the Beacons look to keep it rolling, get back to the Little East Conference Championship. After losing last year to WestConn in the semifinals, the Beacons are 0-17-1 all time at WestConn. They'll see if they can snap that streak on Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. Boston women's volleyball on the road to kick off the Little East Conference tournament. The quarterfinals between them as the 6th seed and the 3-seeded UMass Dartmouth Corsairs. The Corsairs beating the Beacons at Clark Athletic Center earlier this year in 3 straight sets. But there are 3 close sets, and the Beacons showed why in this one, as early on they would have the momentum and take an early 3-0 lead in set number 1, thanks to a Michaela Clary kill and 2 attack errors by the Corsairs. However, UMass Dartmouth would go on a 7-0 run when the match was tied up at 14-all, which would end up being the difference maker as they win set number 1, 25-16. But the Beacons coming back strong in set number 2, a 3-0 run here to kick it off in a 5-5 tie thanks to that pretty kill by Amelia Devlin, and then a kill here by Taryn Brogel, and then an attack error after that by Marley Alexander would help give the Beacons an 8-5 advantage. And then once it looked like the Corsairs were going to creep back into this match, the Beacons yet again seized control with a 3-0 run. It's 16-15 Beacons at this point, and Michaela Garrity goes in for the kill and makes it 17-15. And then an attack error by Marley Alexander, thanks to this block in front by Taryn Brogel, helps make it 18-15. And Garrity again makes it 19-15 on that pretty kill right there that gets behind the defense of UMass Dartmouth. They'd end up taking set number 2, 25-21, thanks to an attack error by Devin Lang. So you head to the third set, tied up at 1-all, and the Beacons using a momentous 6-0 run to end up winning that set. The Beacons had gone on a 4-0 run when the match was 13-12. However, this would be what sealed the deal for them. Up 19-14, end up winning the final 6 points of the third set, and would finish it off with 3 straight kills by Michaela Garrity to take that third set and go up 2-1 in the match. The Beacons now just within 1 set of pulling off an upset win as the 6th seed and showing why they're the defending Little East Conference champs. As you see right here, Garrity with a nice kill makes it 24-14, and then we finish it off with the set point right there. Brogel looks to finish it, but a nice save by the Corsairs. However, Dean's going to set it up for Devlin, and then Garrity goes up and finishes the job as a double touch was called on the Corsairs. Set number 4 really just went entirely the way of UMass Dartmouth. They take it 25-18. So with their backs against the wall, the Beacons needing a way to win, and they were 3-0 coming into this match in 5-set games. And Tony Guerra, a big game-changing plan right there. The Beacons were up 5-1 in the set, were then up 7-5, and Guerra's save right there keeps the point alive and helps spur this 5-0 run by the Beacons that really ends up being the difference maker in the match, as you see an attack error 2 straight times by the Corsairs end up putting up the Beacons 9-5. Melina Sullivan celebrating on the sideline right there. Devin Lang then with an attack error makes it 10-5. And just like that, the Beacons are closing in on the upset win. And then yet another attack error by Devin Lang would help put the Beacons in front 11-5. And then Livia Trindade puts an exclamation point on that 5-0 run for the Beacons, who are now suddenly up 12-5 in the 5th set. And all they need is 1 more point to win here, up 14-17. And Taryn Brogel and Lauren Westland up front convert on a block against Chelsea Sanker, and the Beacons pull off the upset win. They celebrate and are bouncing on the court of UMass Dartmouth. The Beacons will now head on the road on Thursday night at 7 p.m. to take on the 2-seeded Keene State Owls, who they lost to earlier this year on the road in 4 sets. But one thing's for sure, this Beacons team is something special as they continue their Cinderella run in the Little East Conference Tournament.
And so there you have it. It's been a great week out here on the peninsula across Beaconville and a great start to this Thursday afternoon. We have a lot of important conference postseason action today. The women's soccer team, they play later on this afternoon. Volleyball team plays tonight as well. Everybody in the conference semifinals. And for the men's soccer team, it is a 1-0 lead through 45 minutes. We have the team stats for you side by side, and pretty similar. This has been a slow-paced, keep it in midfield, don't make mistakes type of contest up to this point. The Beacons with the lone goal, 5 Beacons shots alongside 4 Eastern Connecticut State shots. The Beacons the only team to put a shot on goal. They have 2 shots on goals. Dylan Palank has made 1 save. ECSU, they are the only team to have generated a corner up to this point, and they have had 3 of them, 4 Warriors fouls, 5 Beacons fouls, and the lone yellow card drawn by the goalie, Dylan Palank, who went out to try and aid his defender, Jared Caroline, in defending Nielsen DePina, leads to Palank pulling DePina down in the box, and Nink Brigenka, in the 37th minute, his 5th goal of the season on a PK, and that is how the Beacons have this 1-0 lead. There was a litany of subs from ECSU in the second half. We'll see what lineup they go with to get this second half started. Their season comes down to these 45 minutes and at least tying this game back up. The Beacons, easier task. They just have to hold this 1-goal lead to earn themselves a trip to the championship on Saturday. We'll take a 3-minute break, and when we come back, we will have the second half for you here at the UMB Soccer Stadium. Beacons leading the Warriors 1-0. Second half after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Yeah. So let's do it. Let's get this second half started here. The Beacons still in their team huddle. ECSU, they are on the pitch as well. The Beacons scoring in the 37th minute thanks to a Nick Braganca penalty kick. He tucked it inside the right post for his 5th goal of the season. Now, we mentioned these two teams in similar spots. They're the 2 and the 3 seed in the LEC respectively, but the seasons have gone very differently recently. Seeing the Beacons have a bit of a possession upper hand and the upper hand in the scoreboard, rather surprising considering that the Beacons are just 3-3-3, in their last 9 games. 1-2 in their last 3 games, whereas ECSU has won 7 of their last 8, outscoring their opponents 26-4 in the process. So, it was a very pleasant start for the Beacons in half number 1. Let's see what they have up their sleeves for half number 2. Nick Braganca over the ball here, Josh D'Almeida right in front of us. Ryan Lima to his left. Braganca goes back all the way back to Diego Gisholt, and we are underway for half number 2 with the Beacons 45 minutes away from a trip to the LEC Conference Championship. It's turned over right in the middle of the field. Running onto it, Jevic Perez slides it over to Luan Cruz, and this half is back started with a little bit of action here for the Beacons off the opening kick. Remember, 5 shots in the first half for the Beacons, 4 for ECSU. And you would think that you would know what the Beacons have planned for this second half to just park the bus, but that's probably what ECSU expects as well. And if you could slip a second goal past them here in the opening moments of this second half, that more or less would do any team in. Cross intended for Braganca in the middle of the box, but it's cleared up and out. Enin running onto it. That one hit with the left shoulder, no whistle blown. So this ball's still alive right in the middle of the pitch, and now a later whistle coming in from the referee as Braganca making contact with number 22, Larson Richards. So taking it back will be Jared Caroline. And my apologies, I thought Caroline was the guilty recipient of the yellow card. Instead, it was actually goaltender number 1, Dylan Palank. And so that is big news for ECSU head coach Greg DeVito, as he will have the services of one of his best and one of his most senior defensive players. DePina, great effort there to run the player off the ball, and now Lima keeps it alive on his right foot. Chips it ahead to D'Almeida. Here's Josh, reading the defense, slides it ahead to Ryan Lima. Lima can't get to it, but that one's played out of bounds by Larson Richards. And my apologies, I thought it was off Larson Richards. He was able to just tip it off Ryan Lima. And the Beacons, yet to have kicked a corner in this contest, cede the ball back to ECSU, who, trailing by 1, looks to be wasting no time here to push this ball back up the pitch. Caden Bokus stuck his nose into the offensive attack a couple of times in the first half. His pass to Enin gets intercepted, and then Enin, down the sideline there, trying to keep that one in, fields some contact, flies out of bounds into his own bench. No card. And no whistle either, no foul. Instead, it's just going to be a throw-in from the sideline. Nobody in the box except for Kasim Al-Ashkar, and he doesn't even have to field it. He'll just stop it with his chest, finally bending down and very casually picking it up with Caleb Ennen making his presence known. Not the best pass out to Erickson Potter, though. Gisholt going to have to trend very deep to the left sideline to keep possession alive. And that, let's see, the advantage was played, and so that play stays alive. That was a great job by the Beacons holding the course there. If ECSU wanted to, they could have stopped that momentum and taken and opted for the free kick. Instead, they just tried to cross one in, and so the advantage overruled. Al-Ashkar makes the stop. Nice play there by Cafferty to cut off the looping pass intended for Perez, but he kicks it right out of bounds, and so it'll be a throw-in right in front of us here at the press box. Perez on the throw-in, and nice job there by Jevic Perez. He got about 10 yards on that one as that ball was out on our side of the sideline. And there was one player on the Warriors who saw, I believe it was Niall O'Brien, saying he was out over here, ref. The ref didn't say anything. Ultimately, the ball's all the way back on the Beacons' end of the pitch. It's out for a throw. And surveying the scene, that's number 24, Logan Erickson Potter. Looking for Braganca. Braganca trying to spin around Caroline. He keeps possession alive, wins it off Caroline, and now takes it away and slides it to Luan Cruz. Over to Ryan Lima. Lima threading it back through to Christian Suvak. The Beacons now charging after reversing the field. Jevic Perez deep along the right sideline, and he beats Sean Cafferty on a great one-on-one move now. Perez, head up, pushes the ball ahead to D. Almeida, tries to loop that one around to Lima, and what a great defensive play by Eric Kingay to dispossess Lima. That was the last line of defense right there, as Kingay now storming down the sideline, and Jevic Perez, phenomenal defense in transition. He gets down, hits the slide tackle, and keeps that rush out of trouble, and it'll just be a deep throw for ECSU, and that's a bad turnover by number 24, Niall O'Brien. He had D. Almeida behind him, wasn't feeling that much of a ride, and it just hits his foot too firmly, goes out of bounds, and so the Beacons win possession back. Braganca ready, fielding the throw-in. Back to the defense. He keeps possession alive, using that big frame very nicely. Looks over to Luan Cruz. Cruz going to his left, now switches back to his right, all the way back to Jevic Perez, who has no one around him. Perez, he beat Cafferty from that same spot a minute ago. Opts to slide it over to Josh D. Almeida. They work a two-man game now. Perez deep in the corner, tries to cross it through. Nobody there but Dylan Palank, who will scoop it up rather easily. You can see the urgency in ECSU here. Every stop they get, it's an immediate foot on the throttle back up the field. And they have it in a good spot here as Scudder opts to push it ahead to Niall O'Brien. And in the lone man in the box, O'Brien gets to it along the left sideline. Stops his direction. Great job there by Elijah Elliott staying firm with it. It is out off Elijah Elliott, and it'll be a throw, but both teams with a chance to catch their breath as we have an ECSU sub making his way on. And I believe that's number 16, Caden Hetrick Rivera, seeing his first playing time. Rivera, a freshman out of Portland, Connecticut, standing just 5'7" on the pitch.
Now on the match for the Warriors, number 16, Caden Hetrick Rivera.
And Rivera doing the throw in here deep down the left sideline. Into Caleb Ennen. Ennen spins around Jevic Perez. Nice job. Ball into the box to no one in particular, and DePina is able to clear it with a left-footed toe blow. Braganca offering some supplementary defense, but the ball is still loose in the middle of the pitch. They go to Ennen. He tries to feed it through to Hetrick Rivera. Elliott there, but the ball still towards the middle of the pitch, and it's loose, and Ennen, oh, great play by Erickson Potter, getting the right foot to it to get it out of trouble momentarily. DePina skies up. Walter Scudder has been there the whole time. He takes a big blow in the middle of the pitch. He's down in a heap. He looks to be trying to get up very quickly. 6'1", 165-pound midfielder who's been playing defensive midi up to this point today out of Unionville, Connecticut. He's okay, and it's a big stop for the Beacons there, and they will win the ball back at a crucial spot in the defensive zone. So that's a double win for the Beacons, as you see Walter Scudder making it up under his own power, and he'll stay on the pitch, and even better that you're able to get the free kick. Al-Ashkar picks it up with a Caleb Ennen just shadowing him quite a bit, and Kasim will ask his defenders to instead push up the field. Beacons holding that 1-goal lead. This is a beautiful boot from Al Ashkar up out to D. Almeida. Almost was able to slip that one through to Ryan Lima. Instead, this ball cleared, and it won't be out of bounds. So Elliott going to have to deal with Caleb Ennin, and he turns it over to Ennin. Ennin crossing it into the box, looking for Mayuri. Too much on it. Al Ashkar retreating out of the box to clear that one out, and he gives it a big boot. It'll be a very, very deep throw. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a throw-in, not a corner, and a little bit of miscommunication, but it's still alive for the Warriors. Into the box, it's deflected right there, and Hetrick Rivera puts it in. Unbelievable. They opt for the quick throw-in, and the Beacons had the first lead on the ball. It gets deflected back, and the rebound goes right to Caden Hetrick Rivera, who just entered this contest. He's right on the ball. He slides it past Kasim Al Ashkar, and we've got a brand new match, folks. In the 53rd minute, it's the true freshman, Caden Hetrick Rivera, tying this game up at 1 apiece. .53rd minute goal for Caden Hetrick Rivera. Goal number 2 on the season for the freshman. And it couldn't have come at a bigger time here, as the Beaks now back on possession. But this is a brand new game, as ECSU was searching for that equalizer very hard in the first 8 minutes of the second half, and they get it.
Connecticut goal scored by number 16, Caden Hetrick Rivera. Assisted by number 20, Caden.
It's Caden Bokus on the assist. Caden Bokus, number 20, from Caden Hetrick Rivera.
52 minutes, 30 seconds of the second half.
And that's in the 53rd minute, so we're getting that officially here.
30 seconds of the second half.
Logan Erickson-Potter was there on the charging attempt back up the field for the Beacons. It leads to a goal kick, but Ryan Lima, winning possession, feels some contact from Niall O'Brien, and that's going to be a foul right at midfield. But we're knotted back up at 1 apiece, thanks to the true freshman, Caden Hetrick Rivera. Suvak across the pitch to Jevic Perez. Perez lofts it into the box. The Almeida is there, but climbing the ladder is Dylan Palank. He gets to it first. And now ECSU, their first chance to push up the field with a chance to take the lead. Turned over in the middle, and Luan Cruz just booting it out of trouble. In midfield here is Walter Scudder. Little too much leg on that one, looking for the aforementioned Hetrick Rivera. Really nice to see Walter Scudder. I mean, he took a big blow in the middle of the field, went down in a bit of a heap, and to see him up here and operating at full capacity is nice to see. It's the second career goal for Caden Hetrick Rivera. And it was thanks to the effort of number 20, Caden Bukas. So that's 2 freshmen with the goal and the assist. Hetrick Rivera's lone previous collegiate goal happened in a 10-0 win versus the Pratt Institute of Art. And so 1 goal in a 10-0 win, well, that carries a much different tenor than the lone goal for your team in a 1-1 conference semifinal. What a big time for the freshman to arrive. A Nielsen DePina chips this one through to Ryan Lima. Lima, left-footed shot, and it's saved. Unbelievable, but the rebound is loose. Erickson-Potter into the middle. It gets to Lima again. He puts a shot on again, and a left-handed save. Dylan Palank hadn't made any saves up until that point. He makes 2 in the span of 10 seconds, and this game remains tied at 1 apiece. Well, Ryan Lima, he leads the Beacons with 54 shots now on the season. Never afraid to put his nose down and go for goal. That was a dangerous play there. It was almost a turnover. Instead, it gets to Elijah Elliott in a fortuitous spot. And Luan Cruz is going to win this ball with some room to maneuver, but he turns it over looking for a Nielsen DePina. Elliott, in a little bit of no man's land, gets it over Caleb Ennin. Ball not out of trouble yet. Perez got pushed by Ennin there. That one will go over our heads and over the center field fence at Monin Park. So that's the second time that we've lost the ball into the outfield. 2 subs making their way on here for Eastern Connecticut State. You have your second look at number 7, Ryan Soroy. And number 25, Logan Brennan. Now, these are two of the team's best goal scorers. Brennan with 8 goals on the season, Soroy with 5. They each have 2 game-winning goals to their name, so you can see what is on the agenda for head coach Greg DeVito. It's push the effort here. It's let's get our goal scorers onto the pitch with this game tied now at 1 apiece. Nice individual play there by Jevic Perez just to get that ball out of trouble. And let's see. There was a ball on the field that was behind Eric Kingay, and that break and play will switch up the tactics and have Kingay throw it in. Now, he has it deep along the left sideline, looking over to Scudder, and the Warriors reversing field all the way to the right sideline, and freshman Lex Edwards. He opts for a cross-field pass. Wow, it gets to Hetrick Rivera. He gets another look on goal, and that'll be 2 shots, and both of them on goal for Hetrick Rivera, but that's saved by Al Ashkar. No problems. Wow, what a different game we have now here in this second half. It takes a whole different shape thanks to the 53rd minute goal by Caden Hetrick Rivera. But it seems like both teams now, not content with letting the other team make a mistake and countering, both of these teams look to be forcing the issue here and on the offense. DePina loses it right around midfield on the right sideline, and so Scudder, asking for help, slides it over to Bokus. Bokus over to Kingay. Kingay, right-footed cross that was intended for O'Brien, way too far out, or pardon me, Logan Brennan, intended for Logan Brennan, too far out in front of the 8-goal scorer, and a goal kick coming up for the Beacons, but another ECSU substitution as Anton Smith makes his way back in to play midfield, the freshman out of Plymouth, New Hampshire. No subs yet for the Beacons here in this half number 2. A bit of a lighter bench for the Beacons today. 4 players that normally dress not dressing for today's contest. And so you can think that might limit the substitutions used overall by head coach Jake Beverlin. Perez with a lot of room to work down the right sideline here. Let's see if he takes advantage of it. He gets across the midfield line, slides it through, and he puts a great spin on that one to D'Almeida. So Josh, deep down the right sideline here, looking towards the middle, dancing around his defender Kingay, tries to cross, and it's played out nicely by number 22, Larson Richards. Ball gets back to Christian Suvak, though, still in a dangerous spot. Lima in the middle, down the sideline to Jevic Perez. Perez drops, puts it back on his right foot, goes to his left to Ryan Lima. Lima, left-footed cross, almost over the defense. DePina was back there. Potter controls it right along the outside of the box. Dances around to DePina. A Nielsen, 2 men fronting him. He gets through. Can Potter get to it? Yes. Crosses it in. Man in front. No! What an opportunity as Logan Erickson Potter was able to cross it through to Josh D'Almeida. And D'Almeida is able to get a slight touch onto it, but the ball pushes just to the right side of the post. They beat Dylan Palank. They do not score goal number 2. And everybody take a deep breath because we're still tied at 1-1. And it looks like both teams are going to be throwing the kitchen sink the remainder of this match. Nobody feels like going to overtime, it looks like, as we're tied 1-1 here, 15 minutes into half number 2. Jaron Haddock, number 15, back in for ECSU. He played about 20 minutes off the bench in half number 1. Lima can't get to it. A lot of contact there between Lima and the Haddock, who just entered the field. That happened right in front of the referee here on the right sideline. You love being this close to the action because you can see and hear everything happening between these players. But now here's Larson Richards, senior, out of Mansfield, Connecticut, surveying the scene here with the ball basically on the midfield stripe. He has Jaron Haddock to his right, puts the right hand up and lines one towards the box, right to Kasim Al-Ashkar. He saw it all the way, skies up, no problems. And let's see now if the Beacons can catch ECSU sleeping here out of this set piece. D'Almeida, chopping at his feet. Nice step over there to get around the one defender, and now he's down the sideline around Caden Bokus. Jevic Perez, back to Elijah Elliott. And so if nothing else, the Beacons, they're probing down the sidelines to see if they can find one of those dangerous crossers. It almost sprung Josh D'Almeida. This is a turnover to Nick Braganca right in the middle of the offensive zone. He gets past the first defender. A lot of momentum. Steps over the ball. Keeps it on his right foot. Shot! Misses! Oh, it was so close! He beats Dylan Palank again and got so much on that ball. I think Palank will get credited with the save as this will be the first quarter of the contest for the Beacons. Nick Braganca stuck with it, uses the big frame to keep possession alive. Before you knew it, he was 10 yards away from the goal with the ball on his right foot and just pulls it past the left post thanks to the Dylan Palank save. But for the first time, the Beacons with a corner kick here, and Diego Guichot lines it up on the right foot. About 7 bodies in the box. They go towards the near post. It's deflected, and it's off the side of the net. So we'll do it all over again. Luan Cruz was there, puts the deflection in, and deflects it right back out. Let's see if they attack the near post again on the line. Guichot. Yes, it's on the line again. Towards the middle, a lot of bodies in front. It's deflected. Luan Cruz, or pardon me, right? No, yeah, Cruz with a big argument saying that it hit a Warrior, but Braganca offering some words as well, and the referee just waving both of them off. Big stop for ECSU on back-to-back UMB corner kicks. The Warriors still holding a 5-2 advantage in corners this afternoon. And we stay scoreless here. You're a Beacons fan. You got to like the constructive, productive offense leading to opportunities here. DePina couldn't get to that one in time before it's cleared back into the middle. Ultimately, Elliott walks it out of trouble, and now Potter runs it out of trouble, but his sliding pass is intercepted on the play by Lex Edwards. Edwards still on it to Pena. Strong play to take it from him from the behind, and he has 2 players to his right. Instead, he looks to his left and Nick Braganca, and the flag goes up. That was closer than it looked, because Braganca, from our view, the angle was he was behind the shoulder. Obviously, we don't have the proper angle, and so Braganca whistled for offside for the 4th time today. Now, they say you got to play to win. I would give Nick all the credit in the world because he's generated 3 scoring opportunities and has put one in the back of the net. 4 offsides, though, tough to swallow. Turnover here as Scudder looks towards his man in the middle. It's Brennan. Back they go to Smith. Smith trying to spring Soroy, and Soroy, as fast as he was, still about 10 yards away from that one. Just a little too hot off the foot of Niall O'Brennan. Well, all of a sudden, this game is, you look at the stat line, and it looks like the back-and-forth affair that it is. Remember, a trip to the LEC Conference Championship on the line, 8 shots apiece, 5 shots on goal for the Beaks, 4 on goal for the Warriors, 3 saves by Dylan Palank, 3 saves by Kasim Al-Ashkar, 4 for Dylan Palank. Braganca once again behind the defense, throws a little shoulder fake to clear up some room. He's on the ball, he feels the contact, and now the Beacons, about 12 yards or so off the corner of the box, will opt for the quick restart. Braganca chops through, steps over towards the middle of the field, reverses, back to Christian Suvak. Suvak, left-footed charge, or pardon me, that's Potter, tries to cross it in, and it's kept out of trouble by Larson Richards, who opts to keep it in play and send it downfield. Nice dummy from Diego Guichot, and both teams will get to reset their looks as it'll be a UMass Boston throw-in from the left side. About 20 minutes into the second half with about 25 to go here at the UMass Boston Soccer Stadium. If you're just joining us, Nick Braganca scoring his 5th goal of the season in the 37th minute off of a penalty kick. Yellow card issued to the goalie Dylan Palank for bringing down a Nielsen DePina in the box. Braganca, line drive shot, tucked it inside the right post to give the Beacons a 1-0 lead, and then the Beacons trying to hold on to that lead. 8 minutes into the second half, it was a turnover and then a quick throw-in. A rebound off of a Caden Bokish shot led to an easy slot-in goal for the true freshman Caden Hetrick Rivera. And we're knotted up at 1 apiece here, with 24:50 left to go in this contest, with a trip to the LEC Conference Championship on the line. Both players hitting the deck there, and it's D. Almeida, the guilty party. Ryan Soroy charging on through and causes the dispossession and the turnover. Soroy, we mentioned, does most of his damage off the bench. Him and Logan Brennan. Ryan Soroy, 5 goals this season. 2 of them are game winners. 12 points on the year, so 2 assists to go along with those 5 goals. Nice play there by Nielsen DePina. He almost dispossesses the team captain, Jared Caroline. Instead, Hetrick Rivera keeps it alive down the left sideline, and the play in goes to no one in particular. And now here come the Beacons on a counter. Logan Erickson Potter leading the charge. puts his foot through it. Braganca behind the defense. Flag stays down, but Braganca can't stay on the run. Beacons had something there yet again. Number 9 proving his worth as the target man this afternoon, but no shot. Remember, 8 shots apiece up to this point. This game is a very even 1-1 match. Two teams that were almost identical coming into action today. The last time they played, the Beacons trailed 1-0 at the half and scored 3 goals to take the lead, but now they're on the defensive front. Al Ashkar, good read on that one as O'Brien was behind a couple defenders. I'm not sure if that was a cross or a shot. Doesn't matter because Kasim got to it first, and now Luan Cruz pushing it down the left sideline will get a throw in for the Beacons. And instead of Luan Cruz taking the throw, and it will be Logan Erickson Potter, and so that's the quick stoppage in play. Well, we thank you again for joining us here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, brought to you by LEC TV. My name's Chris Del Sordo, bringing you the action here this beautiful November afternoon now as we are in playoff soccer. That ball chipped ahead by Logan Brennan. Not the sharpest showing out of big number 25 yet this afternoon, but by no means do we anticipate that to continue. Braganca taking on Caroline. Caroline wins the header ahead. Scudder sends it in to Hetrick Rivera, and Smith trying to loft that one over, but it goes right to Kasim Al Ashkar. Logan Brennan vying for the attack on that play, can't get to it. And let's see, will it be a quicker run back upfield or a slow pace? You don't want to turn the ball over back at this point of the zone, so priority 1A has to be getting the ball out of trouble a little bit and then maybe generating an attack. When you have a Nielsen DePina, though, he can do it by himself, and he got through 4 Warriors, couldn't get past the 5th, but now Ryan Lima in a dangerous spot has Perez to his right. Jevic asking for some help from De Almeida, slides it through, and it gives Josh a little bit of a run to his right. De Almeida, right-footed cross, it's blocked on the baseline, on the goal line. De Almeida wins it back, though, no whistle, stepping over. Inside the box, cross, it's deflected in front, nobody gets to it, and it's cleared out of trouble by Lex Edwards only momentarily. Suvak at the top of the box to Lima, left-footed shot, curving, and it bounces once, and it's saved easily by Palank. Looked like Lima got a little bit more on it, but that ball was dropping fast, and the bounce took a bit of velocity off of it. An easy save for Dylan Palank, who has now had to make 6 of them. 10 shots on goal for the Beacons now. 10 shots, 7 on goal, 6 saves made by Palank, the junior out of Willington, Connecticut. ECSU has been hot and heavy with the substitutions, and we will see 3 more of them right now. You have Caleb Ennin and Niall O'Brien making their way back on, along with Andres Mayuri. Impressive to think that ECSU was able to score that game-tying goal without Ennin or Mayuri on the pitch. Hetrick Rivera, just his 2nd goal of the season, getting the job done. But now, some true attacking talent, as you have O'Brien, Brennan, Ennin, and Mayuri all on the pitch right now for Eastern Connecticut State. Heady play there by Jevic Perez. All De Almeida Duke can spin in for the slide tackle and clear it out of trouble, so we'll go right back for another throw-in. Jevic Perez looking very good and a very crucial start for the freshman out of Leominster, Massachusetts.
Number 9, Caleb Ennin. Number 10, Andres Mayuri. And number 24, Niall O'Brien.
So that throw-in headed out of trouble calmly by the Beacons. And it was Perez. Now Perez fronting O'Brien. O'Brien spinning, kind of spun himself into a double team. He plays it off of Christian Suvak. No, he doesn't. They were able to play it off of Niall O'Brien. And so the Beacons will get the throw-in. They're still very deep tucked near their own net, but I'm sure Kasim Al Ashkar will appreciate the clearing into some open space here. You can see ECSU, they feel like they're on the front foot in this contest. They have 8 of their 11 outfield players inside the midfield circle, and they force the turnover here. Body in front, Ryan Saroy, but he kicks it right to Kasim Al Ashkar. Big save for number 99. There was a lot that Ryan Saroy could have done with that one. Instead, he goes with a low roller, and it's an easy save for number 99, but both of these goalies having to answer the bell quite a bit here in half number 2. Perez to De Almeida, back to Christian Suvak. Beacons look to reverse the pitch here. And it's Diego Gisholt with a big step through. Ahead to Luan Cruz. Cruz Ducks that one inside to Ryan Lima. Lima trying to spin through 2 Warrior defenders. Suvak man on the ball. And that clearance attempt goes right to Ryan Lima. It hits the back of Anton Smith, who I don't think he was ready for it, but a great play by Soroy up ahead to Caleb Ennin, and an even better clearance by Diego Guichault. No problems at all, high off the fence, and at least the Beacons will be able to bring some bodies back on the defensive end. Josh D'Almeida has put in quite a day. If they had the pedometer on him, the number would be ludicrous at this point. He's all the way back to apply some defensive help as that one rolled in from Ennin. No trouble at all for Kasim Al-Ashkar. And once again, Kasim surveying the scene, trying to pick his next lane. 19 minutes left in this contest. The Beacons had the 1-goal lead at halftime. 8 minutes into the second half, Caden Hetrick Rivera with the equalizer. It was a Caden-to-Caden play with Bokus setting up Hetrick Rivera. And we've been tied for the past 25 minutes here at UMB Soccer Stadium. Lima, a little dummy to try and free up some room for DePina. That ball hangs up a bit, but Palank gets to it first. He thinks about the drop kick. Let's see if that's what he ends up doing. Yeah, drops it, puts his right foot through it, and kicks a high one. Right to the back of the infield dirt. Mayuri gets to it first. Soroy tucks it through. Ennin taking on Elliott. No whistle. Al-Ashkar picks it up, and we'll go right back the other way here with the Beacons on the ball. Both teams knocking on the door. Seems like ECSU knocking slightly harder than the Beacons, but with this game tied 1 apiece, neither team ready to park the bus and settle. Both teams pushing the offensive issue. Ryan Lima, deep down the left sideline now, steps over, gets around the defender, into the box, crosses it into the middle, great diving clear, but DePina is right there, touches it. D'Almeida, right-footed shot, it's blocked. Huge block by Larson Richards. That is a junior looking like one back in a tough spot on the defensive end. And so Perez comes to us, he'll get it, and he looks to quickly put it back in. Thought better of the pass to Christian Suvak. And he looks to Nick Braganca over the first layer of defense. Braganca can't climb the ladder and get to it. Perez clears it back, but he plays it right back to Niall O'Brien. And now ECSU, potentially with a dangerous attack brewing. Soroy, across to Mayuri. Can he get to it? He puts the touch on it, gets to Anton Smith, right back to Mayuri. So here's ECSU now. Attack brewing. Soroy, right-footed shot, deflected. Big play by Jevic Perez again. And Perez gets to it first. And here come the Beacons, back out of the offensive zone. If they hustle, they have a 3-on-3. Lima is going to slide it over to DePina. Instead, they'll let some bodies rejoin them. D'Almeida streaking down the right sideline. Instead, they opt for DePina to the left. A Nielsen gets to it in the front of the box. Ball on his right foot. Gets behind the defender. Played it Braganca in the middle, and he couldn't get to it. And D'Almeida's diving attempt comes up unanswered. Wow. A Nielsen DePina did that all by himself, and then somehow you looked, and the ball is crossing the goal mouth. Braganca and D'Almeida there. They can't get it by Palank, but the wing offensive rushes from this Beacons offense, they are challenging ECSU to say the least, and it looks like these defenders, with the quick movements of DePina, have been caught in no man's land a couple of different times now. We have 16 minutes left to go in this contest. Another sub coming in for ECSU. It's Caden Bokus. Caleb Ennin wins the Henner. Over to Diego Guichault with a bicycle kick to clear, but Caleb Ennin the first to get to it for ECSU. D'Almeida crashing in and winning it on Ennin, but Perez gets tripped up by his own team. Oh no, okay, that was Caleb Ennin called for the trip. I swore that was D'Almeida that accidentally tripped Perez. Instead, the referee right on it. We'll take that whistle definitely, and it'll send the ball back the other way. The shot on net taken there by Soroy, only missed by about 6 inches over the crossbar. So you like to see that. That ball bouncing on Al-Ashkar a bit. He has to kick it over to Guichault to send it back up the pitch. We haven't had a sub in the second half for the Beaks yet, as Coach Beverlin liking what he's had out of his 11 on the pitch so far. They have allowed a goal, but now charging down the left sideline here, Erickson Potter feels some contact, and it'll be a left line throw-in for the Beaks as Lex Edwards called for the foul. You see Erickson Potter runs back. He gets the Powerade bottle there from his coach. Never a bad time to get some extra hydration here as we're heading into crunch time. It's a beautiful afternoon out here on the peninsula. A little bit of wind circling around. It hasn't affected much. It's always risky business once you get into November playing outdoor soccer, but you couldn't have a better day for this conference semifinal right here. And so whoever does fall in this contest, they'll be hard-pressed to blame the weather. DePina gets the throw-in. Looks for Cruz. Cruz out in front to Lima. Lima stops, puts it over, shot! Oh, it's just over the crossbar! What an individual effort by Ryan Lima to just get a shot off, let alone put it that close to the frame. The Beacons have tested Dylan Palank from every which angle. And I take back what I said. I think, especially these past 15 minutes of this second half, it's been the Beacons' half. They've answered strongly in response to the Caden Hetrick-Rivera goal that tied this game up. And we have 13 and a half minutes left in this contest here. And a game bubbling, ready to blow here at the UMB Soccer Stadium. Haddock gets the double header in towards Anton Smith, and he puts a nice touch on it, trying to free Caleb Ennen down the left sideline. It does. Gisholt is there, and he clears it out of danger, no problem. D'Almeida, some problems, though, fielding it cleanly. And now, back up to Ryan Saroy. He'll peel it back to Lex Edwards. And ECSU on the attack. Deep in the Beacon zone. They turn it over, though. Gisholt gets it out of trouble, gets it ahead to DePina. And DePina to Lima. And the Beacons will reset their offensive attack. A near turnover there, but Hetrick-Rivera can't get to it in time before Potter cleans it up. This ball to no one in particular, but Berganca on it and winning possession for the Beaks. Lima quickly ahead to Luan Cruz. Cruz now, head full of steam, slides it over to DePina. DePina, so quick on that right foot, gets around the first defender, looks back towards midfield, now crosses it to Jevic Perez. Perez has D'Almeida in front of him. The Warriors trying to hold D'Almeida on, so instead of 1-2, Perez pushed back on that pass, gets it to Suvac. They work the deep triangle to D'Almeida, who chips it ahead to Suvac. Christian, cross towards the middle, over Braganca, and the next man closest to it is Walter Scudder, who will opt for the deep clear. Gisholt pushing it ahead. Now both teams not taking their foot off the gas on the forefoot of the attack. We have 12 minutes left here, 25 minutes since our most recent goal, scored by ECSU's Caden Hetrick-Rivera, his second of the season. Nick Braganca, he scored the game's first goal. Back to the defense, slides it through. DePina, left-footed cross into the box. He didn't get a lot onto it, and it's turned over right in the middle. Saroy couldn't get to it, though, and Suvac's one touch couldn't get to Luan Cruz in time. So opting for another clear is ECSU. Caroline played it back dangerously, but then a very good second touch to get it back forward. Caleb Ennen back to the defense, looking for Saroy. Elliott touches it, and he touches the ball, so that contact is going to be good incidental contact. And let's see who touched it last. It was touched last by Elijah Elliott, and so a crucial job on the defensive end needed here for UMass Boston, as it is the 7th corner of the day for ECSU.
Warriors corner kick kicked by number 5, Lex Edwards.
4 more corners for the Warriors than the Beaks up to this point. Lex Edwards, the true freshman, addressing the ball deep down the right sideline. Right-footed kick. He puts his toe into it. It goes over the first defender for the Beaks. Cleared out momentarily. Hetrick-Rivera can't do much with his first touch. Looks over back towards Edwards. Edwards gets poked off of the ball by Gisholt, but he pokes it. Well, he's the last to touch it. So instead of going back with the Beacons, it stays right where it is. And Lex Edwards once again restarting play. Throwing it in towards Hetrick-Rivera, and Caden Hetrick-Rivera, caught with his hand in the cookie jar proverbially, blows up Logan Erickson Potter on the play. And that will be a foul against number 16. Ball back to the Beacons. Nearing the 10-minute mark, 80 minutes of phenomenal soccer to determine the trip to the LEC championship game. Really, no inkling on how this game will find its conclusion. DePina towards the middle, towards Lima. It's deflected on the play and cleared out by Anton Smith. And now Logan Brennan pushing ahead for ECSU. Slides to Mayuri. Maiuri over the top. Down there was Hetrick Rivera, or pardon me, that was Caden Bocus. Can't field it. It's cleared out by UMass Boston. Stays in bounds. So Lex Edwards is going to keep it in. Puts his right foot into it, looking for a man in the box. Score! Unbelievable. It was dummied by Logan Brennan because the entry was going to him. And Andres Maiuri spinning and putting it into the back of the net with his right foot. Just his third goal of the season, but now his third goal to go along with 8 assists. And it couldn't come at a more clutch time for the senior out of West Hartford, Connecticut, Andres Maiuri. From Caden Bocus, that looks to be his second assist of the contest. And the third goal of the season couldn't come at a better time as ECSU now just has to hold the lead for 9 minutes.
Edwards. Time of the goal, 80 minutes, 29 seconds in the second half.
So it wasn't Bocus with the assist, my apologies. Lex Edwards, the freshman, getting the assist for the Maiuri goal. So 2 second-half goals scored by ECSU. Caden Hetrick Rivera in the 53rd minute, Andres Maiuri in the 81st minute, and both of those goals assisted by true freshmen. And ECSU answering the bell there. It was a beautiful dummy on the play by Logan Brennan. Before you knew it, Andres Maiuri had a one-touch volley with the ball on his right foot, and nothing Kasim Al-Ashkar could have done. Such a great first half for the Beacons, but now playing from behind with an ECSU team who doesn't seem too content to sit on this lead. Luan Cruz ahead to Ryan Lima. Lima stepping over it. Has a man to his left in Briganka. That one played but not played out of trouble. DePina gets it back to Diego Gisholt. And here's Diego now. Right-footed cross into the box. Looking for Lima. Or looking for Cruz, pardon me. Soroy the first to it out near midfield. ECSU can't play it out of trouble as Al-Bahasi gets to it. DePina now. The cross wasn't there. Bocus on the play able to take it away. And he sends it all the way down to Kasim Al-Ashkar, who wastes no time with any sort of fielding. He'll put it right ahead to Diego Gisholt. And back on the charge the Beacons come. 8 minutes left to go. Huge collision there. As Lex Edwards takes a spill and a Nielsen DePina. Neither of those guys the largest of frames, but a Nielsen DePina, how fast he can get going. And Lex Edwards trying to hold his ground. Both of those players slow to get up. A Nielsen, he's okay. Kicks the ball towards the referee. We officially have 8 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in this contest. So make that an 80th minute goal for Andres Maiuri. That one's just going to get sent all the way into Dylan Palank. Comes out about 5 yards from the net, easily skies up and hauls it in. And this will help eat off some time for ECSU. Winner of this game plays the winner of WestCon and Rhode Island College in the LEC championship. Lima draws the foul, and now it sets up Gisholt going back the other way. He has DePina to his left, and he slides a through ball into a Nielsen DePina. DePina looking for the cross to Briganka, the dummy! And it doesn't get through, the ball is still loose. How was that save made? It was made with the feet of Dylan Palank. It was a beautiful dummy from DePina to Briganka. The shot was on, and the save was made. The Beacons centimeters away from tying this match back up. Lima, all the way across to Diego Gisholt, who is now up playing left mid. The Beacons opting for just a 3-man defensive front. Gisholt dancing around 2 Warriors. Slides it back to Luan Cruz. Cruz's shot is blocked by Anton Smith. Logan Brennan now spinning. He gets behind Mon Al-Bahasi, but he can't get to it before it gets out of bounds. Checking the time, we are under 7 minutes left to go in this contest. ECSU leading 2-1. That ball out off of the Beacons, and so it will be an ECSU sub coming in. It's number 2, Alexander Voigt. We're seeing the first look at the defender from Miami, Florida. Coach DeVito opting for an extra defender, taking off the attacker Ryan Soroy. You can see now it looks like ECSU wanting to park the bus and bring most of their bodies back. Luan Cruz, with some room to operate now, working on Anton Smith, opts to go back towards the left sideline, gets around Smith. So now, Cruz with the ball at his feet. It's Gisholt deep along the left sideline, fronted by Alexander Voigt. Gisholt gets past him. Right-footed cross, man in front. DeBerganca on the rebound. It's deflected. Header is still loose. Lima scores! Ryan Lima right there clears up the rebound. And the Beacons tie it up with 5 minutes left to go. Nick Berganca's big body cleared some room. The deflection on the play gets out to Ryan Lima. He's the team's leader in shots, and he finally, after testing Dylan Palank all game long, beats him on the rebound. The Beacons tie it back up at two apiece thanks to Ryan Lima in the 85th minute. Ryan Lima, his 5th goal of the year, so now the Beacons 2 more 5-goal scorers to join Josh D'Almeida, and we are right back to a brand new contest. D'Almeida working against that's Josh Bouchard, who just entered the contest. They go over the head to Lima. Gosh, D'Almeida has laid it all on the line this afternoon out on the wing spot, but Hetrick Rivera's behind the defense. Left-footed shot, what a save! What a save by Kasim Al-Ashkar as Caden Hetrick Rivera. It's hard to think that the goal scorer from earlier in this second half would be unmarked behind the defense, but there he was. And luckily, Kasim Al-Ashkar, who's had to come up very big here in this second half, makes yet another gigantic save. Ball deep down the right sideline. Now Lima sliding it through to Josh D'Almeida. Back to Ryan Lima. It's out in front of Lima, and the Beacons turn it over at midfield. Nice touch there by Larson Richards. Caden Hetrick Rivera opts to go over Al-Bahasi. Al-Bahasi to Elliott, and that was a heady play there by Elliott just in the nick of time. But this ball not out of trouble yet as Anton Smith gets inside Potter, and that's a bit too strong of a boot from Anton Smith. Let's see here, under 4 minutes left to go now in the contest. Nick Berganca scored the game's first goal in the 37th minute off a penalty kick. Then in the second half, Caden Hetrick Rivera tied it up, his second goal of the season in the 53rd minute. Andres Maiori scored what looked to have been a potential game winner in the 80th minute, his 3rd of the season. But just 1 minute ago, Ryan Lima, for the 5th time this season, an 85th minute goal to knot this game up at 2. And a great job by Lima there, dancing around a couple of Warriors defenders, drawing the foul. And let's see what Suvak and the Beaks opt to do with the ball back into play. They go over towards Logan Erickson Potter, deep along the left wing. Potter running in. Slides a pass through to DePina. DePina now with some room in the box. Crosses in. Berganca with a dummy. And it just tips out of goal-scoring reach for Josh D'Almeida. Big opportunity there for the Beacons. Turnover, though, as Perez gets it to Cruz. And Cruz turns it right back over to Josh Bouchard. Bouchard now doing a run with Larson Richards. Richards stops, turns, and gives it right to Diego Gisholt. He has had a phenomenal game on the back end. Gisholt and D'Almeida, for 2 players yet to register a stat. Offensively, they're playing phenomenal intangible soccer. D'Almeida now has a man to his right in Suvak. They're going to give him some room. Left-footed shot. It knuckles a little bit, but Palanca is able to swallow it up and take it back out. Look like we're headed towards the final minute or so here. 2 minutes left to go in the contest officially, as that, I believe, was touched with... Well, let's see. It wasn't. I thought it was a handball. Instead, it was a true foul, and the referee saying, no, we cannot do a quick reset. That's got to be an indirect. And so Jevic Perez directs it back to Kasim Al-Ashkar, and now Kasim will be over the ball directing traffic here. Gisholt over to Suvak. 2:30 officially on the scoreboard clock here as Suvak lofts it over the top towards Jevic Perez. Can he get to it in time around Haddock? Haddock tried to touch it off Perez, and he misses Perez with the clear attempt. And so the Beacons now can walk into a throw-in here with about 2 minutes left to go deep down the right sideline. Nick Berganca, Ryan Lima, the 2 goal scorers for the Beaks. Caden Hetrick Rivera, Andres Maiori, the 2 goal scorers for the Warriors. D'Almeida, deep in the corner, spinning. taken away by the Warriors, and Elijah Elliott is there for the clear attempt. Can Luan Cruz win it back in? No, instead it's Anton Smith skying up and winning possession for the Warriors. Gisholt, timely header to a Nielsen DePina. DePina now dribbling around Hetrick Rivera. He gets tripped up again, and so the Beacons will get to restart. Beacons wanting to see the yellow card there from Hetrick Rivera. That's been his second rather sloppy tackle on the ball. Jevic Perez, back to Christian Suvak. Getting very close to the 1 minute mark of this contest here is Caroline, a big midfield interception. And he tries to spring Larson Richards. Richards won't get to it. This will be a goal kick for the Beacons. And let's see what Coach Beverlin has drawn up here. We have a minute left to go in this contest. Does Kasim Al-Ashkar... Yeah, he's not going to boot it deep. Instead, they will keep possession close. Waiting for the announcement. There's the announcement from our PA, SID extraordinaire, Dave Wahlberg. We are under 1 minute left to go in this contest. 50 seconds. DePina turns it over, but Cruz is right there. Over to Potter on the left sideline. Potter toes it back to Cruz, and they work a two-man game here. DePina now has Potter to his left, and he gets dispossessed. What a play by the sophomore Alexander Voigt. Beacon still with a chance here. 38 seconds. They go back to Gisholt. Gisholt lofts the cross over, and it's over the head of Haddock. It gets to D'Almeida. Josh dancing. Josh right-footed shot. It's deflected. Beacons have to hustle to get a corner kick. Lima gets to it. They're going to have time to get this corner kick off. About 19 seconds on a running clock. They play it in. D'Almeida to Lima. Lima, left-footed cross into the box. It's played up into the air. Bouchard can't clear it out of trouble. 5 seconds. Lima, can he get the boot on it in time? No, and we are headed to extra time to determine the winner of this semifinal match. 90 minutes of soccer, not good enough, so we will have some extra time. After full time in the UMass Boston Soccer Stadium, the Eastern Connecticut State University Warriors 2, the UMass Boston Beacons 2. We'll take a quick break and have extra time for you after this. Well, we're getting our bearings back up here in the press box. We have a couple of minutes left to go before we start with extra time. The game is scored 2-2, and if you missed any of this contest, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you because this is one of the best LEC soccer matches we have had all year. Here's a side-by-side comparison. The shots, it was 5-4 at halftime, and all of a sudden, offensive explosion before the second half got started. 15 Beacons shots to 13 Warriors shots in 90 minutes of regulation. 8 of the Beacons' 15 shots were on target. Eastern Connecticut State, 7 of their 13 shots on target. Kasim Al-Ashkar, 5 saves up to this point. Dylan Palank, 6 saves up to this point. So both star goalies answering the call, answering the bell, living up to their billing. Eastern Connecticut State generated 4 corners, the Beacons with 3, and the one corner was the spark for the first goal for Caden Hetrick-Rivera. Both teams, bit too many fouls if you ask each of their head coaches. 11 for the Warriors, 8 for the Beacons. The lone yellow card, that happened back in the 37th minute when the goalie, Dylan Palank, was called for taking down a Nielsen DePina, and that led to the Nick Braganca goal. Really quick, here is a scoring summary for you. I've touched on it through the broadcast, but if you're just joining in because you got the call that, hey, this game's headed to overtime, maybe you want to tune in, thanks for joining us. You're watching the Beacon Broadcasting Network, powered by LEC TV. The Beacons' Nick Braganca scoring his 5th goal of the season in the 37th minute. And then in the second half, Caden Hetrick-Rivera, for just the second time this season, scores with a 53rd minute goal. Andres Maiori, he scored his 3rd goal of the season to go along with a team-high 8 assists in the 80th minute, and that gave ECSU the lead 2-1, and it looked like basically ECSU played their way into the LEC championship, but thanks to a hard-charging offensive effort spurred on by DePina, Braganca, and D. Almeida running down the seams. Ryan Lima, the center attacking mid, runs onto a rebound and slots it past Dylan Palank in the 85th minute for his 5th goal of the season to tie it up at 2 apiece. The Beacons, they will start this first half of extra time with the ball. A quick rundown here on extra time, overtime if you will. Rules at the LEC level, it is 2 10-minute halves. There is no golden goal or sudden victory, however you would like to call it. Instead, you play all 20 minutes, you play 10 minutes shooting at one goal, 10 minutes shooting at the other with a 2-minute halftime break in between. And so the Beacons, I believe, well, we'll see. I'm not quite sure which team will start this first half of extra time with the ball, but looking at the players making their way out onto the pitch for the Beacons, I see what looks to be our first Luis Spinola sighting. If that's the case, we didn't get to see any of Luis in regular time. A defensive stalwart here, Coach Beverlin, probably had some tired bodies on the sideline, a shortened bench, and so it looks like number 17, Luis Spinola, in for the first time today. The 11 on the pitch for the Beacons, Kasim Al-Ashkar in net, Luis Spinola the left back, Elijah Elliott now slotting in at the center back, Diego Gisholt the right back, and Logan Erickson-Potter the right wing. Christian Suvak the defensive midfielder, Luan Cruz, Ryan Lima in the middle, a Nielsen DePina on the right attacking wing, Josh D. Almeida the left attacking wing, and Nick Braganca the center front. And that is the 11 that will start extra time for the Beaks. A trip to the LEC ship on the line, and we are underway in extra time here. Remember, it is not sudden victory. We have 20 more minutes of soccer in front of you. Suvak going to try and spring Braganca early here in this extra time. Nice positioning there by Lex Edwards, running Braganca off the ball, and that will lead to a goal kick in the opening seconds of extra time for ECSU. Palank, Al-Ashkar have both been very busy. 6 saves for the junior, Dylan Palank, out of Willington, Connecticut. 5 for the junior out of Salem, Mass, in Kasim Al-Ashkar. Here's Palank, the near box, drives this one right towards the middle of the pitch. Suvak off the deflection, plays it forward, but it goes back to Maiori. Ultimately, DePina now with the midfield line, charging ahead for the Beacons. Not much help nearby. He'll step over towards the middle of the pitch, but that ball intercepted on the play by Walter Scudder. Once again, Diego Gisholt right where he needs to be to clear that one out of trouble, but this one touched through to Ryan Soroy, and Caleb Ennin couldn't change direction quickly enough to get to it. But that's a bad turnover now. Maiori running through, he gets dispossessed, he's still on it, spinning around, he still has it, and finally, it's Luan Cruz getting it over to Logan Erickson-Potter and out of trouble. Now Cruz touches it ahead to DePina. DePina now. The toe blow ahead to Braganca. And that one gets past Berganka, almost overran by Jared Caroline, and he turns it over to Logan Erickson Potter. Potter looks to his back. And here's Luis Spignola for the first time. Spignola, head down, charging down the right side of the flank. Gets run off the ball, still looking for some room for the cross. It gets deflected. Lima almost is able to run onto it, but it's turned over in the middle of the pitch. And Elliott now loses it to Caleb Ennin, but a sliding play by Gisholt, and the Beacons needed that. He was the last line of defense, and Ryan Saroy was unmarked. But the Beacons win it off of Caleb Ennin, thanks to Diego Gisholt. His defensive heroics continuing. That was a handball, and it happened right in front of the referee. Yes, it was. And so the Beacons will take it the other way with a restart about 40 yards away from the Warriors' goal. Pulling up the stats for you here now, 16 shots for the Beacons, across from 13 shots from ECSU. We're 2.5 minutes into this first period of extra time. Spignola loses it along the sideline and loses it out of bounds. Caleb Ennin behind the defense. That one rolls up his chest, gets behind him. Saroy there. Nice kick out by Spignola to get that one out of bounds at least and let the Beacons defense catch their breath and reset. Even better play there from Spignola to chop that one off of Caleb Ennin. But no, it's last touch by number 17. And Luis instead, I thought that was a nifty play. No, he plays it out of bounds himself. And this will be the 5th corner kick of the afternoon for ECSU. Lex Edwards once again doing the deed. Deep in the left corner. So here's Edwards surveying the scene. There's only 3 Warriors in the box right now. And that one goes to Kasim Al-Ashkar. He skies up, tested him a little bit. He was closer to the goal line than I think he would have liked to admit. But he reels that one in. That's the 6th save of the afternoon now for Kasim. Both goalies been very busy, and Kasim answering the bell. Luan Cruz over the top, and this one turned over into the middle. Suvak, no, he doesn't get to it in time. Spignola, great runoff, and he wins it away from Caleb Ennin. And now Josh D'Almeida with some room to operate, chipping it ahead for the Beacons. He'll take it himself. Trying to get around Niall O'Brien, but O'Brien, phenomenal job, and D'Almeida is going to get called for the hold on the defensive recovery. Some communication there between Lima and D'Almeida. They weren't on the same page. And Larson Richards is going to put this one back into play. The tall June, no, he's going to run off and give the duties to Dylan Palank. So let's see if ECSU trying to line up an offensive rush here as we have 5.5 minutes left in this first overtime. Palank over the top. Headed backwards. Gisholt tested again. Scudder climbing the ladder. He's still around the ball, and now Caden Bokus tries to chip it ahead to Ennin. Ennin in the box, runs off. Mayuri there, and he scores again. It looked like the Beacons were expecting a penalty to be called on the contact against Ennin, and instead the ball rolls right onto the foot of Andres Mayuri. And for the 2nd time this afternoon, and for the 4th time this season, the senior out of West Hartford, Connecticut, finds the back of the goal, and it puts the Warriors back in front with 15 minutes left in this contest, 3-2. Mayuri, his 2nd of the game, his 4th of the season, in the 95th minute, and now ECSU is back up 3-2. The Beacons have been able to answer the bell before. They only had 10 minutes to do it in regulation. They still have 15 minutes in front of them, but it starts now on this possession. Spignola to Lima.
94 minutes,
and Spignola, just you can tell that he hasn't been in up until this point. Just not a crisp first touch on the ball. He turns it over down the right sideline. Jevic Perez back on the bench for the Beaks. 3 subs entering the contest for ECSU. It looks to be Anton Smith, number 21, Caden Hetrick Rivera, number 16, and Logan Brennan. So Brennan, Hetrick Rivera, and Smith, all 3 of them re-entering the contest for ECSU. 4.5 minutes left to go here in extra time. Throw in from Haddock all the way down low towards Caleb Ennin. Ennin ran off the ball, but he's able to find Bokus in some open room. DePina crashing in. Great job dispossessing Bocas. And now they go ahead to Potter. Logan gets to it in time, and he wins the one-on-one battle against Walter Scudder. Ultimately, it will be a foul called against Scudder. Erickson Potter, he's asking for a sub. He needs to come off. And so Jevic Perez, yeah, that break, not that long of one, as Potter has to walk that one off. And you like to see that. That's a smart play out of the sophomore Erickson Potter, because you would think most players in a match like this are just not going to want to come off the pitch for any reason. And wise decision there, knowing what his limitations were with that injury coming off for Perez. 3 minutes left now in this first half of extra time. Andres Maiori, his second goal of the contest, putting ECSU back in front now 3-2. Cruz overran the ball, was too far away from it to get it through to Ryan Lima, and you can see now the Beacons with some tired bodies out on the pitch. Perez was able to get about 5 minutes of a breather, but not on the same page as Josh D'Almeida, and the Beaks turn it over now. With about 3 minutes left to go here in this first half of extra time. Elliott pulled down away from the ball by Caleb Ennin, and so we will be quickly going back the other way. Perez wastes no time to get it back into the action. D'Almeida directing traffic. Hetrick Rivera ran him off the ball. He's called for getting it out. And now Lima back into play for the Beaks across to Spignola, who's now on the left back, holding the spot held by Logan Erickson Potter. Here's a Nielsen DePina. DePina gets through the first defender. Head full of steam, still alive, and it's cleared at the last second by the Warriors. Does this one stay in? No. And so the Beacons will have a throw in here in a fairly threatening position. They'll opt to send it back to Gisholt. Spignola, nice dummy to get behind. He keeps it in. Spignola on the left foot tried to cross it, and that will set up a Beacons corner here. It's Diego Gisholt heading quickly to the left corner.
Take by number 15, Diego Gisholt.
Diego's third corner kick of the afternoon. Raises his right hand, surveys the scene, lofts one in. Perez gets it, it's headed, and it's in! It is in the back of the net! Josh D'Almeida! Unbelievable! He got behind the defense, and he ties it back up, his 8th goal of the season. Josh D'Almeida, what a clutch finish. And you can thank Diego Gisholt for the delivery into the box. We're all tied up again. Unbelievable. In the 98th minute, for the 8th time this season,
UMass Boston goal scored by number 23, Josh D'Almeida.
It is the junior from Revere, Massachusetts, Josh D'Almeida, and this game can't decide what it wants to do. Twice, Andres Maiori has thought he has scored the go-ahead / game-winning goal, and twice the Beacons have had an answer. First, Ryan Lima in the 85th minute. Now, Josh D'Almeida off of the beautiful corner kick in from Diego Gisholt. It's really fitting that Diego is going to get that assist. 1:36, thank you, is the time that we have left here in this first period of extra time. And Diego Gisholt has been everywhere. The true center back for the Beacons. He's a sophomore. He looks like a senior out there, does number 15. He got on the corner. He puts the kick through. And Josh D'Almeida, he was knocking on the doorstep all afternoon, is able to head it in, just a deft touch from number 23, his 8th goal of the season, and wow. Nick Braganca, Ryan Lima, Josh D'Almeida, the 3 goal scorers for the Beaks. Now DePina looks ahead to Lima in the middle of the field, and the diving play by Jordan Caroline to dispossess the Beaks. But here comes Jevic Perez winning the ball back. Lima looking ahead. Lima feeds it through. Josh D'Almeida crosses it in, that's deflected, and it'll be another corner here. The Beacons, they scored on their last corner. Now Gisholt heads deep to the right sideline to send it in. We are nearing the final minute of this first half of extra time here. This is Ryan Lima, Lima with the left-footed approach here from the corner. Lima crossing it in towards the box. It goes over everyone. Perez can't get to it, and this one will chase Perez all the way out towards us as the press box. The first man to get to it, Anton Smith. Lima can't get on him for the dispossession. Elliott caught in between no man's land. Suvak gets to it, but ran on by Brennan. Brennan slid. 7 seconds left in this half. Brennan taken down on the play by Ryan Lima. The clock's going to stop, and this might be a free kick right in front of the box. 3.2 on the clock. It is a yellow card issued to Elijah. Well, let's see. I believe Elliott was the man on the ball. He faces the yellow card. And so, here we go. A dangerous free kick with just 3.2 seconds left in this first half of extra time. The Beacons, a mad scramble, and they score 3 minutes after allowing the go-ahead goal from Mayuri. Not a lot of room to operate here. Over the ball is Lex Edwards. The referee guiding the wall back towards its appropriate allowed spot. Next to Edwards is Caden Hetrick Rivera. Edwards, the corner kick taker. Let's see, he's got one kick left in this half. Gets it through the wall, and it's saved by Al Ashkar. What a save by the junior. It is hard to get anything past him, and we will have a quick 2-minute break here as this match somehow is still tied. It is now tied at 3 apiece. Kasim Al Ashkar, his 6th save of the afternoon, and wow, Lex Edwards did a great job testing it. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, the second half of extra time, are we headed to a shootout, or will we have another goal? 50-50 odds at this point. Quick break, and we'll be back right after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Well, folks, it's still tied 3-3. We have 10 minutes left of soccer, and then we might have a shootout after that. Here are the side-by-side stats. The Beacons, 17 shots now, 15 for the Warriors. Both teams with 9 shots on goal. Both goalies making 6 saves, because we had that Al Ashkar save right before the end of the first half of extra time. 13 fouls now against the Warriors, 10 for the Beacons, 2 ECSU yellow cards, and the Beacons with 1. It was Diego Gisholt who was called for the yellow card, pulling down Edwards on the play. Luckily, Kasim Al Ashkar made the save on the ensuing free kick, which keeps us tied at 3 apiece. Earlier in extra time, Jordan Caroline, number 17 for ECSU, he was issued a yellow card. So we have 2 players on ECSU, Palank and Caroline with yellow cards, and then Diego Gisholt now with a yellow card against him and the Beacons. So we're resetting here, ECSU on the ball to start the second half of extra time. Andres Mayuri in the 95th minute, but Josh D. Almeida right after him in the 98th minute, and that has us tied at 3 apiece. Luis Spinola, he's been tested quite a bit in these 10 minutes that he's played after sitting out the bulk of regulation. The Beacons have needed him, and he's answered the bell. And now DePina ahead to Lima. Lima now, with some room to operate, puts it ahead to a Nielsen. DePina steps to his left. Ball still on his left foot. Crosses alive. It's deflected, and it's deflected out for a corner kick. Hard to stop the charge of number 12, a Nielsen DePina Fernandez, and he was able to get all the way around the closing defender. He's still on the deck. A Nielsen just 5'5", 130. Such a blur to try and get in front of and stop. And You know, it's easy to lose him in the box here, so let's see if he tries to slip in around the big bodies. He will instead head towards the middle. This one's quickly put in, and a clunky clear on the play by Jordan Caroline, and so now Diego Gisholt, another look at it. He went with the line drive approach that led to the D. Almeida header goal. Let's see, this one, a little bit more power behind it. Curling it! He scored! No! No! Oh my goodness, that ball went in on the corner, and instead collision between Braganca and the goaltender, and do not count it. Unbelievable. Diego Gisholt could not have kicked a better corner. If he practiced that 100 more times today, he would not put one off his right foot better than that. It literally curls in off the shot, but Braganca called for the foul in front of the net. And so we're still tied at 3-3. And this game that has seen, it's already seen everything basically except a red card. That's just another new twist and turn into this contest. Now, 2 players with yellow cards for ECSU, so the Beacons, they would be thrilled actually if this game saw a red card. As it is, that's Jevic Perez staying in the contest. He's on the right back spot now, so we haven't yet to see Logan Erickson-Potter re-enter after that leg injury. Perez loses it to Ennen. Ennen keeps the dribble alive, but Perez wins it back. Nice job there. And D. Almeida spinning to Braganca. Nick along the right sideline keeps possession alive and out of trouble, and Haddock plays that one out of bounds. And then the Beacons, no, pardon me, that was played in by Haddock, but the clear attempt by the Beacons goes out, and it's a side throw for Larson Richards and the Warriors. This one's lofted over the top to Maiori. Won by Jevic Perez. Once again, number 4. True freshman, but looking like a vet out here this afternoon. That ball turned over by ECSU deep down the right sideline. And so... Oh, I'm sorry. No. The foul was called back on the Beacon side of the field. Foul against ECSU. It'll be a free play in. Perez and Suvak working a little two-man game. That one's just blasted off the head of Maiori. Lima climbs the ladder, and he just cramped. So you're going to have a player down now until we can figure out this calf cramp for Ryan Lima. He jumped very high, and you can see he came down with that calf in spasm. He's back on the pitch, running forward. Perez, heady play there to play it off of Walter Scudder. And yeah, we're going to need a new sub re-entering the contest. So once again, Oscar Trujillo back in for the Beacons as Ryan Lima. This happened right in front of the referee. He's having such a phenomenal game up to this point, and really quarterbacking those charges upfield from the attacking midfielder spot. He comes off, Oscar Trujillo on, and now Trujillo playing the front man. Braganca gets played off the ball along the sideline here. He just loses it. Wow, he loses it, and you can see Nick Braganca just stopping where he is to take a breather as he might be dealing with a cramp himself. This one played back, Ennen over the top to Maiori down the left flank. The Warriors. Oh, great play there by Elijah Elliott to dispossess Maiori. And now looking to DePina. Nielsen cuts it off in front of the defender, and now with some room to operate, slides it ahead to Oscar Trujillo. Trujillo, the true freshman from Hyde Park, just re-entered this contest, has seen about 6 minutes of playing time this afternoon. He's on at a crucial time here. Under 6 minutes left in the second half of extra time. This game was tied 2-2 at the end of regulation. This game was tied 1-1 with 80 minutes through the contest. And 4 goals in the past 20 minutes of soccer have us tied at 3 apiece. Ennen spinning. Great play there by D. Almeida, and he wins it ahead to Oscar Trujillo. Oscar looks off Ennen, back to Spignola, up ahead to Braganca, and it's just past Nick Braganca. Calmly hauled in by Dylan Palank. He'll pound it on the turf, keep his eyes upfield. Looks for a spot to deliver this kick into, and he'll launch it. 3/4 of the way down the pitch. Spignola the first to it here on the near sideline for the Beaks. He'll play it up to DePina. DePina has Trujillo. What's Nielsen going to do? Step over. Gets around the first defender, Soroy. Keeps it on his right foot. Plays it back to Luan Cruz. Cruz now playing true back with Trujillo on the pitch. Spignola down the left wing. Spignola crosses it into the box. It's a goal! Justy Almeida right into the middle of the box. Spignola sends it in. D. Almeida had it lined up the entire time. He runs onto it. And with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in this contest, Josh D. Almeida for the second time today and the 9th time this season scores, and the Beacons for the second time today, hold the lead outright. UMass Boston 4, ECSU 3. It's D. Almeida from Spinola.
4 seconds in the second overtime. That's D. Almeida from Spinola.
Unbelievable. This game couldn't get any crazier. We now have 3 extra time goals, 2 of them from Josh D. Almeida. That one in the 106th minute. And now Braganca, quickly off the restart, working, plugging along. Nice play there, defended by Walter Scudder, who has arrived today on the defensive end. He's having a phenomenal game for ECSU. He's able to win that one off. The Beacons almost caught ECSU napping. So that was, pardon me, that was not the 106th minute, the 105th minute. Now we are about 4.5 minutes left to go in the contest, but it's D. Almeida for the second time from Spinola, and both of D. Almeida's goals scored with the head. It's going to be a goal kick now. Palank and the Warriors having to push it upfield. So there we go, 4 minutes officially left here in this contest. Just 240 seconds for the Warriors to save their season. Luan Cruz deals it out of trouble. Jared Caroline sweeps it back. Cruz all the way back towards the box to get to that one and get it ahead to D. Almeida, and Josh doing the wise thing. Like to see that effort from the coaching staff of ECSU, stopping that ball from going any further out of play and quickly getting it to their man to send it in. Ennin trying to fend off the Beacons defenders. Elliott, can he keep it in? Yes, he does, and he keeps it in, avoiding the corner kick. Instead, it'll be a deep throw for Maiori. 3.5 minutes left to go here. Maiori didn't see anything he liked. Instead, he'll opt to run it in. Andres, big toss directly to Luan Cruz. And a big right-footed volley sent in. Kasim Al-Ashkar kind of caught in no man's land. He wins possession. And he gets dispossessed. Dispossessed by Caroline. And oh no, you cannot do that if you're Kasim Al-Ashkar. That happened right in front of the referee. I don't know if a card's going to be issued because he shoved Caroline away from the play. So that's going to be a yellow card against Kasim Al-Ashkar. We have both goalies now having a yellow to their name, and now can ECSU provide another answer? This is Lex Edwards, his 7th corner of the afternoon here, lining it up with the right foot. Edwards surveying the scene. ECSU still getting their spots taken in the box. They're all towards the left post here at varying depths. Edwards chips it in. That's a light touch. It's floating. Al-Ashkar puts a hand to it, and I believe that was Braganca skying above everybody else, using his 6'2 frame to head it, but not out of danger. Now it is a left corner for Lex Edwards. 2 minutes, 40 seconds on a running clock here as Lex Edwards surveying the scene. He raises his left hand, approaches with his right foot, gets a lot under this. This one's pushing back. Scudder heads it to the middle of the box. Bodies in front. It's deflected and cleared out by Diego Gisholt. I didn't see who it was to finally get that one out of trouble because that was in a very dangerous spot, but Gisholt ultimately clears it away. Smith charging in. Spinola, a bit of a hip check. It's legal, and now cleared all the way back down the pitch by DePina towards Braganca. Nick applying pressure, chasing. They're going to have to retreat to Palank. He zips one through, but Suvak there to sky up and win possession for the Beaks. 1:58. We are under 2 minutes left to go in extra time, half number 2. D. Almeida wins it off of a Warrior. And now a timeout taken on the pitch from ECSU. Let's see here what the Warriors have drawn up. They're keeping the same 11 on the pitch. It's going to be a throw-in. That goes over the top down the left sideline. Kinge ultimately wins it back. Wow, what a jump there by Luan Cruz just to get that one out of trouble where Maiori has to retreat out of bounds to play it in. Maiori's toss in goes to Suvak. It's booted towards the middle of the field by Surratt. Scudder towards no one in particular, but it's deflected by DePina. Bocas gets to it first. Trujillo tries to charge ahead. This one gets down low to Ennin. It's tipped up, and that's going to be a foul. I believe it's going to go against Caleb Ennin, the player who hit the deck. We have 1 minute left to go in extra time, half number 2.
1 minute.
Diego Gasholt, he has an assist today off the corner kick on what could be the game-winning goal here as we are in the final minute. Remember, both of these teams playing for a trip to the LEC championship game. Mayuri, he's got 2 goals today. He's got 8 assists on the season, and he gets that one down into trouble. But it's going to be a foul against Larson Richards. Diego Gasholt not going to be able to come back onto the field, so the Beacons will have to put one more sub back into the game. And I'm not quite sure if they have anybody ready to do it. No, Gasholt is up. He's still in. And so it will be a free kick here for Gasholt over the ball. Just 30-ish more seconds for the Beacons to hold here, and they earn their trip to the LEC championship game. Spignola, though, he's dispossessed on the play by Bocas, but Caden can't get to it in time before it crosses the right sideline. 12 seconds, 11, 10 seconds left. The Beacons just have to keep this one out of trouble. Well, one more opportunity here as Mayuri feeds it through. Luan Cruz with a deflection. Spignola tips it away, and the UMass Boston Beacons are headed to the 2022 LEC Championship game. And you can thank the heroic efforts of the junior Josh D. Almeida. 2 extra time goals, his 8th and 9th on the season, and the Beacons win 4-3 and move on to the conference championship game. With that win, UMass Boston moves to 10-5-3 on the season and is now 7-2 in the LEC. With the loss, Eastern Connecticut State ends their season at 12-6-2 and 7-3 in LEC play. We're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, game finals. After this, how about that, everybody? You can exhale across Beaconville. The Beacons win 4-3. Game final and game wrap-up after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. What a contest we had today at the UMass Boston Soccer Stadium. 110 minutes of intense, high-stakes soccer. We knew when this match started, the winner headed on to the conference championship game, and this game did not disappoint. The Beacons winning 4-3, out-shooting the Warriors 19-16. They got one more shot on goal, and who's to say that wasn't the shot that sealed the deal for the Beaks, both goalies with 7 saves. And the Beacons, they trailed in corners. They only had 2 corner kicks in regular time. They get 5 in extra time. They score both of their extra time goals off of corner kicks, and that leads them to the 4-3 win. Real quick, we will do a scoring summary for you. We had 7 goals today, and just one in the first half. It was Nick Braganca, his 5th of the season, on a penalty kick in the 37th minute. 2 straight goals for Eastern Connecticut State in the second half. Caden Hetrick Rivera, his 2nd of the year in the 53rd minute. Andres Maori, his 3rd of the year in the 80th minute. And things were looking bleak for the Beaks until Ryan Lima scored his 5th goal of the season in the 85th minute to tie it at 2 apiece. We go into extra time, and once again, Andres Maori looks like he strikes gold. His 2nd goal of the game, his 4th of the season in the 95th minute. But just 3 minutes later, Josh D. Almeida on a header in the box to tie it at 3 apiece for his 8th goal of the season. And then the lone goal in the second half of extra time, Josh D. Almeida from Diego Gisholt on the corner kick, his 9th of the season, a goal in the 105th minute. And so that wins it for the Beacons and moves them into the conference championship game on Saturday. Who will the Beacons play and where will they play? That is a great question. The other semifinal is at 7 o'clock tonight. The number 5 seed Rhode Island College heading out to Danbury to play the number 1 seed, the world beaters that are the WestCon Wolves. Whoever wins that game, the Beacons will play. If WestCon wins, the Beacons, they travel out to Danbury. If RIC wins, that game will be right here Saturday at 1. Well, that'll do it for us here on the Beacon Broadcasting Network, and I couldn't have done it without the help of my intrepid broadcasting crew. My director today, Elena Albano. Mike Vesci is our director. Malik Lurquette and Sydney Sandin were on the camera today. My name is Chris Del Sordo. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. You listened to a phenomenal one, and the Beacons are on to the LEC championship game. Beacons play Saturday at 1 o'clock. Join us back here on LEC TV. If we don't have the call, one of our affiliate schools will. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Wherever you are